Hello, everybody. Hi there. I'm eating a very topical ice cream sandwich right now.
Topical ice cream sandwich?
Oh, because it's cold. Drum Island is cold.
Yeah, there you go. Connection.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mom Piece number 5. I imagine we're gonna have lower viewership because I forgot to actually post an image on YouTube to remind people this time. But that's okay. I'm just excited to talk about Drum Island.
Drum Island.
Drum Island's a lot of fun. All right, we ready to get started? Everybody ready? We thrilled and excited. We hyped for the drum.
I was thrilled and excited till you sent me those clips and crushed my soul.
Yeah, for reference, I've just made her watch the clip of Dr. Hiroluke's death speech and of his will being acted and the cherry blossom snowflakes at the end of Drum Island, and immediately made you cry before we started today.
Yeah, I'm not recovered. I still feel like off. I'm just sitting here thinking about that. Now my mind is like, oh. I think that was mean.
You think it was mean to make you watch beautiful art?
I love how you keep saying it was beautiful art as a way of covering up for the fact that you crushed my spirit.
Not covering up, it's just honest. I think you should watch the most beautiful scenes of the anime. They did a great job on both of those.
All right. I can't see I can't see the drawing area or the people or the things or the stuff. Is it up?
You should be able to. It's all up. The boy has been asked to be pet. Boy, you get some pets. Yeah, you. Oh, fuck. Earbud's tangled. Okay, there we go. There we go. Awesome. It's like an experiment that should reinforce me actually being on the ball to get people in to see. Yeah, fewer people show up when I don't do an announcement. So hopefully this keeps me on the ball in the future.
Yeah, that's not surprising. I'm not surprised by it.
Uh-huh. Look, sometimes I'm irresponsible.
You know what? That's as good as all my excuses for reading ahead.
It's exactly as good. It's exactly as good of an excuse.
All right.
Should we get started? What are your overall thoughts of Drum Island? What do you think of it?
You want me to do an overall thought of Drum Island?
Yeah, let's start with a tone. What did we think of this arc? How did it... Wait! No! We're starting with something important! Your first predictions come true, which was the prediction of what we're gonna have as our next crewmate, which was a doctor. And that's what we got. We got Tony Chopper the doctor, so you get to have your first bit of accolade for a prediction coming true.
Are you gonna put a thing on, like a little counter that's like, prediction!
I guess now I have to. Future me just figured out what everybody's gonna see for you getting your amazing prediction correct. Your first accurate prediction has come true.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm so happy about that. I mean, predicting something correctly, whatever, but getting to have a prediction counter, I'm here for that.
You know what? There's a prediction counter. There's also gonna be a wrong prediction counter. If anything's disproven, I'm gonna give you a red star when you get a prediction right, and I'm gonna give like I don't know what why the first thing I thought of is a purple mushroom when something's confirmed wrong, but a purple mushroom is what you get when you get something wrong.
Whoa, you are mean. But also not. Joke's on you. I love purple and mushrooms.
Look, it's what came to mind first, and this pedal goes up. You get a purple mushroom when a prediction's wrong.
All right.
But yeah, we get your first gold star today because you have successfully predicted that the next Straw Hat would be a doctor, which I think is somewhat foreshadowed by them talking, trying to get Crocus to join, and all of them going, we sure do need a doctor, but not everybody picks up on that early, so I think it was still a good prediction.
I think it was a very mediocre prediction, but I'm going to take it anyway.
Yeah, look, you got it right. You'll get a platinum star if a really wild one ends up being true.
A platinum star?
Yeah, you get a platinum star. Diamond star?
All right. Platinum is just silver. I just feel like it just feels like
Platinum is
second
like a
place.
special silver.
Oh, come on. No one's going to be able to tell the difference.
All right, fine. You get a diamond star if you get one of your crazy predictions is true.
And who determines if it's a crazy prediction? You or
Me.
chat? Because will be nicer.
Okay. Chat's gonna be handing out diamond stars left and right. Chat, you don't get to decide what's a diamond star. I'm sorry, you're biased in her favor. You're just gonna be like, oh yeah, that's totally good enough. A straw hat is good, but I want to stick with this system. I want to stick with this system where you get you get stars. I don't know why it's a diamond star. It's the only thing I can think of. You get a diamond star for really good predictions. No diamond star for the doctor prediction. That's a gold star.
I'm loving chat. Yay, chat!
A devil fruit is also funny. Getting a devil fruit when you get a crazy prediction right. Oh,
Yeah,
Lori Sim, thanks for the sub. So yeah, now that we've talked about your first gold star, what are your thoughts? Overall thoughts for Drum Island?
You literally killed me. I can't even tell you.
Yeah,
Watching it
I
as an
didn't-
anime hits different. And so like it went backwards watching those scenes in anime, and it filled in everything else and made everything else that much sadder.
Yeah.
And now I'm just sitting here in Sadland being like, everything in this was so emotional, but we did meet one of the greatest, goodest boys ever.
Is that our boy Anthony Chopper? Anthony Helicopter?
Tony Chopper! The greatest boy!
Here's how everybody in the Discord in the One Piece spoiler section knew you were gonna love Chopper, because you love every Straw Hat, you love every animal in One Piece, and this is an animal in One Piece who is a Straw Hat pirate.
Oh, he's the best already. All the other pirates are like, I wish I could be as cool as Tony. They tried to eat him.
I mean, he's a reindeer, venison.
No, don't even on that. Don't even. Not gonna have you call him my great good boy Tony Chopper venison.
Tony Chopper has 2 roles on the ship: doctor and emergency rations.
Oh my god. No, when I read that, I nearly tried to delete the whole panel. How dare. How dare. The disappointment could not go any further. Okay, so here's the problem. I had to go backwards because I can never remember where I was supposed to read to, because sometimes, every once in a while, I read a little bit further ahead.
Yeah, you can't remember. That's what's happening.
No, but then I have to go back when it's read time, and I'm thinking about things, because I'm like, where was I supposed to read to? Because I didn't. So I forgot that I was supposed to go all the way back into the happy land of poor Nami being sick.
Yeah.
So I went backwards and started to look that up, but then I went too far back, and then I found out some other things that I was like, oh, I should have noticed that the first time, but I didn't. I forgive myself. It's okay. And so then when I went back and found the beginning, I guess we have to talk about the whole arc from where Nami gets sick.
Yeah.
And then move forward from there.
Nami
but my
gets sick
overall
with an ancient disease.
With an ancient disease. My overall feelings about the chapter, yeah, I really like Drum Island. Lots and lots of reasons that we'll get into, but it's a really cool place, and we get to see we get to go through the seasons and talk about why they matter and how they change here, and so I really enjoyed that. The mechanics just all in there.
Really quick before we keep going, thank you Pluplumi, I can't say names right, for the sub, and also Saurus for the sub. That means awesome. That means so much. It's awesome. Thank you. I love the idea of each of the islands having its own season that it is, and then seasons within it. So like, yeah, this whole area could have summer, winter, fall, but a winter island winter and a summer island winter are very different.
Yeah. And so I love that idea, and I love that Oda decided to do a little explanation. And he kind of didn't just leave us hanging. Are you there?
I'm there. I'm here.
Because my thing went off. Because he did that great thing, and I can't remember what it is, but we'll come across it when we're talking, where he made like a diagram of all the seasons, and so that was awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of diagrams in One Piece for the harder to understand stuff, which I think is very, very important.
Yeah, I would agree. Okay, so you didn't think this was important, or you were trying to. I never know if you're trying to like influence me away from things, or what's going on with you. But you gotta back up, because I know I'm right here. I don't care.
You do. You know you're right. I'll say sometimes I'm trying to make you back up so that because I think you're chasing a red herring, but I can't just be doing that. Otherwise, you're going to know when you're right, and I have to be very fucking careful because you have built theories off of like memes you've seen in chat. So like.
How dare you?
I need to be very careful about what information. This actually goes into something I wanted to say quick, which is people were pointing out you were like, saying there's only one map with the Grand Line. That's the only thing in live action. You knew that, but you were like, oh, this is trying to convey information because the live action writers know about the future of One Piece, which is how you came to the conclusion you think there's secret information in the world because you were like, I don't think the live action writers would write this way if it wasn't for the fact that there was secret information later in the world, is the way you
100%.
So just to clarify for people who are confused by why you're using something only in the live action as evidence.
Yeah, and oftentimes it feels like they didn't reveal a lot in the live action that came ahead of time, other than the big reveal of your great good man Garp being Luffy's grandpa. But
I think you mean my main man, Monkey D. Garp.
I'm so sorry, Monkey D. Garp. But they actually give you a whole bunch of clues by accident. I'm really trying to convince myself not to just watch it all again, but it's not going well, and I think it's going to happen. So
there are so many like actual big spoilers hiding in the background of that series, and I am so worried you're going to go through with a fine-tooth comb and just spoil yourself.
God, I don't want to, because I want to just have my surprise, but I want the surface ones and I paid attention, but I was also just kind of getting into a story, right? So like,
if you don't look at backgrounds and props too much, other than the big spoiler, I don't think there's much that's going to spoil you other than like the context they write with gave you what you think is some information that there's a big secret in the world that the government's trying to hide. I'm not going to confirm if you're right or not, but that is a big thing that the context of the live action gave you as a clue. I will say, I don't think you're going to get major spoilers if you don't pick apart the background. If you pick apart the props and background, you are going to notice shit you're not supposed to.
Yeah, but now that's why I'm a little bit nervous about it, because I'm all like, without even trying to, I'm like, oh, there's the panda, because now I'm so keyed in on trying to look for little details that I think more and more my eyes are finding things that I didn't find before.
And I think live action, honestly, if you go over it again, is dangerous because the backgrounds have a lot more spoilery information than the primary shots.
All right. Let's get into it. Let's talk it up.
What the government is hiding is all the cute animals. So true. They don't want people to see the cute animals at the Grand Line.
And if that's the case, I'm going to look at every shot because I want to see all the cute animals.
They don't want people to know about the Kung Fu Dugongs.
What's a Kung Fu Dugong?
You'll find out very, very soon.
You do this to me all the time.
It's so soon. It's like in a chapter or two.
Laboon was soon. I still had my crushed heart trying to wait for Laboon to show up. Okay, so the thing I know is I went back to... Sorry?
No, I was just responding to chat. No worries. So let's go forward. Let's do it.
Okay, so the thing I noticed, because I went back a little bit further trying to figure out where the heck I was supposed to read from, since sometimes I go ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
And
sometimes.
The giant...
Every single time so far.
Oh no, I don't know why I have to be such a hater. And and the giants say a very, very weird thing.
Okay.
So they're standing there and they're about to put a hole through the fish, and you and I then talked about the mechanics of making the hole through the fish, which we'll touch on for a second.
Yeah.
But they say the only thing we can't pierce is a snake soaked in blood.
Which truly I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, I know you don't, which I love, because I love it when you're not just trying to move me off something because you just don't know. And I sat there staring for that for a while. I went to look up snake soaked in blood, and One Piece pictures popped up all over the place. And so I was like, run away. So I ran away. But it's too specific, I've decided.
It
So
feels weirdly specific. I've never noticed that line before, but you pointed that out. I'm like, they say what? And looking back on it, it's like, that is a weird fucking specific. Like,
Yeah,
is that an
who says
expression
that?
in Japan? Is that like a piece of Norse myth? I've never heard of the Jormungandr being soaked in blood before. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, so I've gone through. I don't have enough information because I haven't gone forward enough. And so I don't have enough information to work with. I know that there's going to be some people in chat and stuff who have something to work with. Chat is glitching for me today, which is great because I can't see it at all. So that's great. So that's going in the things that make me go, what? And I'll come back to that later on.
Okay. Yeah, no, so for people who are saying they don't know who said that, we're going back because we missed a couple things from Drum Island last time, and she was going back to see where it was she read ahead from and noticed that Dorian Broggie said the only thing they can't pierce is a snake soaked in blood, which is a fucking insane thing to say. And yeah, I find I'm pretty good at hiding. If I know you're wrong or know you're right, I'm pretty good at hiding it. I can't fucking hide. I literally don't know. I'm not gonna be able to hide that emotion from you. So just for being honest and blunt, I don't know if that means something. It feels like
no, because I said snake soaked in blood, and you're like, who said that? And I was like, over here. And you're like, why did they say that? I'm like, this is the same question I asked myself. So I think I'm gonna have a new corner that's just it's not in corkboard corner, but it's off on the side of corkboard corner where I look at it and think to myself, yeah, you got to come back to that one. That's a thing.
That's like the pin board. That's on the side.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a pin in it. So we're putting a pin in the only thing we can't pierce is a snake soaked in blood. But I don't want to forget that because we're coming back with it. And then when I went to the next page, when I was looking at things, I realized that not only were they fighting about whose meat was bigger, and let's not.
I mean, it is. I saw a trans person point out in the comments that you can read Usopp talking to the giants as gender envy. So there is a lot about like masculine insecurity in Little Garden.
I am adoring that idea, and now I want to go back and read that Little Garden again when we accidentally stumbled across a small garden in the middle of the ocean, because it'd be interesting to read it through that perspective and see it in that perspective. I love that idea. But it's interesting because they're having a fight over their two things that they killed and arguing over whose lizard is bigger. And that's the exact same fight that started the fight between the giants in the beginning.
Yep. I love that. I love that little nod of like...
It's so good.
This masculine rivalry being identical between Dorian Broggie and Zoro and Sanji.
Yeah, the idea that there's no improvement in these silly fights over 100 years. 100 years later, they meet some people who end up having this same stupid fight as them, which is just classic. I also went back into something else that we'll go into later because you and I had an argument / quiet disagreement about chapter 21 and whether that picture means anything. So I'll put a pin on that and we'll come back to it later.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go into the piece now. So this was right away when I was reading this one, you and I have a disagreement on whether or not you think, but I think you're also just trying to lead me astray is what I think is going on here. You're to say.
For what it's worth, I have to try to mislead you at least slightly sometimes, or else I'm just giving you clues when I talk.
You say that, man. You say that, but then you lead me astray from things that I think I know, and then you're like, oh, I don't know, that could just be this. And then I'm like, no, I don't think so. And you're like, and then I'm like, am I wrong?
So what is the specific disagreement? Let's explain it. Let's explain.
So this one is about Nami. She's sick. She comes out onto deck and pulls herself out from near death, and she can feel that the wind has shifted. There's a big wind coming up ahead. She can just, I think, she's wheezing. She's hot with 104-degree temperature. And she just feels it and tells him to steer around. And then a couple of frames forward, you have Vivi standing there, and she's holding Nami up, and they're looking at the giant typhoon or cyclone, sorry. And Vivi says, it's amazing. They say cyclones on the Grand Line happen without warning. And yet, this girl doesn't just use the wind and sky to predict the weather. It's as though she feels it in her bones. I've never seen a seafarer like her.
So my thinking there was just to hype up Nami as an amazing navigator, that she has a great sense for the weather, that she can like, she's so in tune with like the pressure of fronts around her that she can kind of like feel the weather and predict it from her mix of knowledge and intuition. And you're thinking she has some sort of power or ability facilitating that.
Yeah, she absolutely does. So I've decided I'm going full, this pedal is up on that. And
Okay.
Nami has some sort of power that allows her to feel weather. Almost like she is in touch with weather. It's a part of who she is. It flows through her. And so she was able to tell that there was a cyclone coming ahead because there's a disturbance inside her. And even though she was sick, she was still able to have that ability and that prediction, which talks about how strong her ability is.
All right.
And I'm going to say, I can't wait for my diamond star on that one.
You're looking forward to getting a diamond star on Nami's weather prediction abilities?
On all of Nami's weather abilities. I'm going to diamond.
If Nami has the psychic power to predict the weather, I will absolutely award you a diamond star for that prediction. That is a diamond star level prediction. It's an Avengers level threat.
Well, now you know what you've done is you've put something in here. So now we can go back and look at whether or not you're using diamonds in the proper power level.
We have a scaling system. Look, I already have an idea of which of your theories are worth a diamond star if they come true.
Okay, so then we're going forward. We go into the snow. We get our awesome pieces about what it is that makes the weather so unpredictable. I really like the idea that if there are islands that have specific weather patterns, it would make a lot of sense that the rest of the weather in the ocean around them would be chaos. You wouldn't be able to predict it. But we can't miss these because there's this whole thing going on. Chapter 131, Wapol of the Tin. Django's Dance Paradise, Volume 5, Getaway Dance. So we've got a whole story that goes on in the background with our Michael Jackson Django dude.
Yep.
Escaping because Onion found him, blah, blah, blah. He takes off. And so we've got to follow that as we're going through.
Django is, in fact, unchained.
That was actually really good.
Oh, good. Glad you like that one.
Somebody is standing in the water, and it turns out to be the chess dude, Checkmate, or whatever the hell his name. Ugh, I don't like him. Makes me feel unhappy.
Is that one of Wapol's dudes?
Yeah. Standing in the water with his black and whiteness and his weird little face, just standing in the middle of the ocean like, yo, what's up, guys? Were you in the middle of the ocean? Here I am. Look at me. They rub their eyes. They look out again. They all stare at each other, and he goes, boy, sure is cold today. As a comedy moment, though, you got to say, standing in the middle of the ocean and saying that. Kind of glorious. And then, boom, he's thrown way up into the air when the big boy ship increases buoyancy and flies right up. And we meet a person that I hate.
Okay.
Wapol. I hate him so much.
So you're not a fan of Wapol, wielder of the Munch Munch fruit?
I hate this man so much.
There's the good King Wapol, ruler of Drum Island?
He's the worst. I just hate him so much. There's no words. And I hate his fruit. I already want to put out there, whose fruit did I hate so much that they were off to the side? Wax Wax. I used to hate, because I now know about his Munch Munch fruit, Wax Wax gets to make it near the board so that it can make room for Munch Munch being way off to the side and nobody getting to look at it, so it doesn't have to make them sad.
Unironically, feelings of Wapol aside, I love the Munch Munch fruit.
Hey, I know you said that, and I hate it so
It's
much.
so cool. You can combine any two things.
Yeah, we'll get into that later on. I hate it so much.
That's so.
So it's okay. You can like it, and I like the idea that he could. Although, did he know that if he ate people, it would combine them? I don't know.
Yes, he did. He's done it before. That man knew
I
what was
mean,
happening.
Yeah, but ugh, get out of here with your munching. Okay, so we meet the bad boy, and we in what Luffy calls a watermelon boat.
Yeah.
And I love it because the watermelon boat still has an upper and lower part. Like we don't even see the whole thing above the water line when we're looking at it. There's a whole other ball underneath the submersible, which is super cool. And then the name of the boat that I looked up, the Blicking My Giant, it means like Iron King or Tin King. So it's pretty cool. It's a great boat. And I was really impressed with the idea of it. And also, I do like the way that we meet Wapol when he's munching away on a piece of fruit on a knife, and he uses it as a show-off moment where he just starts eating the knife. That's great because it tells me exactly what I need to know about him. I hate him because that's such a show-offy moment thing to do, to be like, oh, do you think I'm normal? Look at me. I'm eating a knife. Good for you. No one cares. Eat your stupid knife. I don't know if you can tell.
You're not.
I'm
You're
not
not a. Something tells me you're not a big Wapol fan.
I'm not a fan. You know what? You know who could be best friends though? Wapol and Pearl could be best friends. They could hold hands and braid each other's hair and talk about what it's like to suck so much.
God, it is so hard to not. This episode is gonna be harder than most. I'm looking forward to all the things we're gonna talk about. It's gonna be harder than most to keep that not a spoiler counter from going up. There's a lot of cheeky shit that I want to say, and I'm going to hold back.
Okay, good for you. Good for you.
Well,
you're trying to lead me astray.
Manga readers, I think, will know why it's so fucking difficult this time to not say cheeky bullshit, but I'm gonna not do it. I'm gonna not do it.
Does Wapol combine himself with somebody else and become best friends and braid his hair?
Look, I'm not telling you nothing.
All right, well, now I wonder because you said that thing. All right, let's move forward.
Let me tell you, it is not a clue. You're gonna get no info reading into that. You can try. It's a bad idea. It's a waste of time.
I'm not gonna listen to you. You always say I'm wasting your time.
You're wasting your time.
Or wasting my time.
Yeah.
I loved Luffy's attack where he intentionally sticks his hands inside of Wapol's mouth. But it was a little bit confusing because in one moment he has his hands inside Wapol's mouth, but in the second frame, his hands are way behind him out in the world. So I kept trying to figure out if he stuck his feet in Wapol's mouth or his hands in Wapol's mouth. But it had looked like his hands were in two places at once. I'm going to say it's his feet, even though it doesn't show it very well. And that's why he was able to reach his hands back. But what a great good moment when he springs Wapol off into space. I was a little upset because I really thought we were going to get to see the storyline because we meet the crew and we see the crew. And they say they have to go and rescue Wapol, who's been shot into space by Luffy, but we don't actually see any of the story of how Wapol was retrieved. And I kind of feel like I would have liked to have seen that. That sounds like it would have been worthwhile. So,
Wapol's crew saving him from the ocean.
Well, because he was apparently shot up into space because he didn't go into the ocean right away because he would have drowned, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not space, but like high up. Maybe he went to an island. Luffy sent Buggy to another island.
Yeah, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit of that story.
All right.
Okay, so
you will never know.
Oh, good. Never. That's good. I like that. Never makes me happy. So then in chapter 132, we have this weird thing with Django's Dance Paradise where he's passing by Axe Hand and they don't meet up. What a waste. They would have been such good compadres.
I mean,
That feels...
I feel like Axe Hand Morgan would despise Django if he found out that Django is responsible for fooling Morgan and like basically creating his entire identity as the man who caught Kuro.
Yeah, I would agree. But I think that, my enemy's enemy is my enemy.
You think they could team up to go take on Luffy?
Well, I think a lot of people are going to have to team up in order to take on Luffy. I just think that's the way that it is. Okay, then we got the doom moment when the two of Captain Wapol's men are saying, "Remember us. This is terrible. The captain has been hurled into space. We have to rescue him before he sinks and drowns. Remember us. We'll get you for this. Just wait. Remember us." As they sail off. Great moment, even though then you have Sanji just being so cavalier. They're just a bunch of idiots. Nothing to worry about. Thank you, Sanji. The minute you say that, we're going to have to worry about them.
But even then, like, I feel like these guys had a wicked amount of confidence considering that Luffy just one-shot their captain.
It did feel a little bit ridiculous. It also felt ridiculous how close Wapu's crew was to Drum Island, that they felt they needed to get directions or have a thing, and they were really right next door to it because Luffy and the Straw Hats found it almost immediately.
Some people just have really bad navigators. Look, Wapol took a team of, 20 surgeons? He didn't take 20 navigators.
He should have thought more clearly that he would need some navigation. So they find the island. We get to the drums, all the little drums sticking up at the top, and you think to yourself, what a lovely, peaceful land. I wonder what interesting things will be here. And then immediately they get shot at.
Yeah.
And it really just sets a beautiful tone for the whole piece. Here we are. Get away or we'll shoot you. You won't. Boom. Oh, you did. You did that. You just shot us immediately. That's a fantastic way to bring friendships together.
It's a good start to a beautiful friendship. Being shot.
I can't wait until we hang out with Blackbeard.
Yeah, you have some thoughts about Blackbeard already, being told that he just recently attacked this island.
Yeah, I can't wait to hang out with Blackbeard because
What's up?
I just was just having a brain moment. Like, how is Blackbeard attached to Luffy if Ace is searching for Blackbeard and Luffy equally?
Is Ace? Yeah, Ace is looking for both. Weird.
Yeah.
That. Thinking ahead now.
Yeah, no, we're going to come back to that. You move ahead all you want. I'm going to put a pin in that, and that's going to be a closer pin than the last one.
Should it be called the pin? I feel like it shouldn't be called the corner. Should they all be corners? Should it be the bookmark corner, the pin corner, pin board, pin cushion? What are we calling that one?
Let's call it the treasure chest. I'm gonna put it into the treasure chest.
All right. It's in the treasure chest.
And those are just little bits of treasure that I pull out and I look over them and I'm like, gosh, this is so shiny. And then one day I'm like, and then I know where it fits. I'm gonna get a treasure chest. I have one. I'm putting it in it. In fact, I'm looking at it right now.
You're looking at your treasure chest? You're so ready for this.
That treasure box has already been declared. I'm going to start putting in little bits of paper with my little tiny nuggets of treasure. Okay. Let's go into our little piece. So we get shot at. We're talking as if we're going to be best friends, but we're shot at immediately. And they tell them, raise your anchor and get the living hell out of here. And then they manage to convince them that their navigator is very, very sick. But this is the very beginning of the piece that I thought was pretty cool. Because immediately Vivi is like, Luffy, you're a crap leader. And she just lays it right out on the line. You're trying to do everything with strength. You're trying to do everything through fighting. And what you really need to do here is supplicate yourself. It says right here. And she doesn't even sugarcoat it. I found the page. Luffy, you're a failure as a captain. You know what, Vivi? Don't hold back. Your impulsiveness doesn't solve anything. If you get us all killed, what will happen to Nami? And then she immediately supplicates herself and bows her head and says, please call a doctor and please help our friend. And then Luffy follows suit, which is he maybe behaving like a crap captain, but he learned quickly. He was a good learner. And it was in that moment that you find that happens. I think it's book ends this piece. In the beginning and the end, people supplicate themselves as a way of being good leaders. And I love the idea that they put in here that true leadership doesn't come from overpowering. It doesn't come from bravado. It comes from knowing what the right thing to do in the right time is. And sometimes that means lowering yourself and showing honor by asking for the help you need. And I thought that was pretty good.
This also touches on something that I think One Piece tends to get an unfair bit of flack for people saying it doesn't do good character development. And I think what One Piece doesn't do is it doesn't often explain that character development has happened, which I think is what people think of when they think of character development, is they think of a moment where people stop and describe a change in a character. And I don't think One Piece really ever that I can think of stops and tells you how a person has changed. It's up for you, the reader, to find those moments of change by looking at someone's actions. And I think, yeah, Luffy learning how to be a better leader is part of his character arc. And I think this is one of the biggest moments of it, where he learns the types of things he needs to do to be a good leader for his crew and to protect them and to do a good job for them in this arc. And I think you've highlighted that learning to, what was the exact word? Supplicate himself is a moment of growth for Luffy here.
Oh, it's a massive moment. And I can't really see chat or anything today, but there was a moment where somebody said that they like the relationship between Vivi and Luffy. And I agree, because I think that it was really intelligent to put Vivi's character in, because she's been trained to be a leader her entire life. And she's beyond a boon for Luffy, because Luffy has only recently decided he's going to be king of the pirates. Recently
decided to start his quest.
And started his quest, but he hasn't been trained in leadership, and he doesn't know what it's like yet to always be doing the best for the people who are under your command. And so having somebody like Vivi, who's been trained as royalty, could not be a bigger boon. This is a fast lesson. And then to get these opportunities to be in places where he's pushed to these limits and can learn from her. And then Oda does make it so that he actually listens, hears, and changes. And I think all of those things are really dynamic and make it an interesting plot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great choice to have Vivi there and to have that understanding happen in front of us. I really enjoyed that. I think it was fantastic.
I absolutely agree.
So we go into the new country, and we don't see him again. The hiking bear, we just for that one time, but right away, everybody has to supplicate themselves to the hiking bear. They all bow their heads and walk by him respectfully. So it would be actually at least 3 times that it's in this one. Then I love the hiking bear. I know it's surprising.
Yeah, it's surprising that you like the random silly animal that shows up for one panel or one page or whatever. It's shocking. I'm shocked that you love the random animal.
I was so disappointed that we didn't see this hiking bear again. I actually went back through the whole piece and said, is he in the background just hanging out? Could we see his den? Does anyone send him a letter? Where's this damn bear?
Does anyone send him a letter?
I want more bear. Ugh.
More hiking bear.
If I have one criticism of this arc, it's not enough bear.
People are saying that in the anime, the bear shows up a couple more times.
Greedy anime watchers. Getting all the best bear moments. I don't know if I could watch the anime. I'm still wrecked, man. Like, I feel...
No, it is far more heart-crushing and also just way too long. We could not get through this at a decent clip if we were doing the anime.
I can't even believe how well that part was done. It was just way too crushing for me.
Devastating, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks for that. We'll talk about it later. I'm gonna attempt not to think of it until it's time to think about it.
Die?
Ugh, why do you keep saying it?
Just when,
I
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on.
You're killing me with that. Okay, the Snow Village Bighorn. I love this village so much. They all have little hats for houses. Excellent. And you see the wife there, who people also bow to. Dalton, I heard there were pirates here. Are you all right? And then they pointed out that she had a different number of onions in her basket in each frame, which I thought was funny. And in the SBS, and then they were like, "Well, we should have known you guys would find it," says Oda. Yeah, you should have. Your people go through with a fine-tooth comb. Captain Dalton, I just want to high five Captain Dalton. Is he cool? Yes.
Uh-huh.
Is he suave? Yes.
Is he a bison?
Is he also? Is he a bison? Yes. Do I love animals? You betcha.
So a man who can turn into bison does get credit for being an animal.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. He is 30% cooler than your average man who can't turn into a bison.
All right.
I love his bison buddy. I like the moment where they do the frame where he's changing into a bison and suddenly his horse is behind him and he's galloping off and the horse is like, yeah, I can't keep up with that shit. I'm just a horse.
That's a bison.
So love that suave man. Also, say what you will about the army, they have some swiggity swag when it comes to how they're outfitted. They look
they got
wicked.
drip.
Oh, they are absolutely killing it on all fronts.
No, so this is not a spoiler because you know that the higher rank you are, the more they are allowed to act on their drip. That's just observable, right?
Yep.
And you know that admirals exist because it's Kobe's dream to be an admiral. Fucking wait till you meet some admirals. They have swag. They got drip. The admirals, they be dripping.
I could not be more excited for that. Okay. There is a weird frame and I couldn't figure out what was going on in it. I think they just made, oh no, I figured it out. I'm good. No, it was when they were making a snowman, but I think they also made a snow dragon and I just didn't see it. It's a super snowman and this is, a monster Sharora. I didn't look at the thing. But over and over again throughout all the frames, now that I've looked it up, you'll see that there's lots of frames where Luffy and Usopp are sitting in the, as Japanese people call them, leg goes numb position with legs under their butt. And being a lot more respectful and putting themselves at a lower height than the other people in the room, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
A lesson is being learned here about deference in a situation where you're in need of help.
But I think it was really good that it was subtle too. Like, I was watching a video talking about how Japanese people love the feeling of their legs going numb and that there's a history attached to it within the warrior class. But at the same time, it's just subtle, showing them at a different height than everybody else in the room and not feeling like they now need to have bravado and learning a lesson in a gentle way rather than it being this thing going like, look, I'm deferring to you. It's kind of just this thing that's threaded through. Yeah. And I think it's a really nice way of showing the learning taking place. Kind of similar to the way that we see Luffy continue to go more and more powerful as we're going through. And you can see like, well, if this person had this kind of power and they could do this and this, that would mean that Luffy is actually growing continuously. We're just not being told, we're being shown, which I think is pretty cool. So it's a show don't tell, and I love that because that's just good writing. Like, I always tell my kids about how in writing that you're supposed to show don't tell, and that Mark Twain would always say, don't tell me that the old woman was crying, drag her in and let me see her tears. So that's kind of what it is. It's kind of that feeling.
Yeah. Luffy supplicating himself is something that you get to see in a visual representation instead of needing to be told, oh, look, Luffy's doing a good job at letting himself be the lower person in a moment.
Yeah, or even say things like, I'll defer to your intelligence. Instead, it's just a thing that we get to see over and over again. Okay, the journey, weird, putting Nami on the back. But I loved that because when it first started to happen, they're having all the arguments about whether they're going to take Nami to this million-year-old witch that they all have these interesting pictures in their mind of. And then they're talking for her. And then Nami wakes up and is like, you know what, Luffy? Because he goes to her and asks her opinion. She's awake. Listen, the only doctor around lives on top of the mountain. So we're going to climb it. And everyone's like, that's ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. And they have all these arguments. And Nami gets to wake up enough that we see in one of the frames that she's actually seeing everything that's being said and hearing it. And all of a sudden she says, I have to get better right away. I'm counting on you. And then Luffy goes over and goes, "Atta girl, Nami, leave everything to me." And so it feels like Nami got to have agency, which was so important when you're talking about a human who had their agency taken away from them. And we haven't had that many adventures yet since Nami's time of being rescued and helping to rescue herself. And so it was really great that they took that moment that Nami just wasn't out cold and Luffy made choices for her, that Nami actually got to help make the choice for how she would get better. And I was really grateful for that.
I agree that it's really important. It makes the scene feel a lot better. And also, it builds on the theme from Arlong Park of Nami being willing to trust Luffy and be like, after experiencing Arlong Park, being able to go, no, I trust that you'll keep me safe for this.
Yeah, exactly. And that this was just another great way of showing the trust and the faith that's been created between them. That instead of saying, oh, look, here's the faith and the trust, they show us this moment. I think that was really great because it also shows how deep the group are coming together, how well they're forming together.
Mm-hmm. I think
yeah,
when it comes to developing relationships and character development in general, the reason One Piece gets flack from a lot of people is because it doesn't spell things out like that, which I think is more demanding of the reader, but I don't think there's a way to tell a story this big and still taking the time to explain all of the development and interactions that you're seeing.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I think that was...
Don't tell.
Yeah, you do. But in this case, having the argument around her and you don't know if she's awake or asleep at this time, and making sure that they make a point of waking her up so we can watch her get say in how she's healed was a really great call.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed in watching the video that I can have stuttery moments where I start to talk and then it sounds like I'm stuttering my way through it. I just have a mind gaps, but that's me looking through pictures and trying to remember where I'm going next. Plus, when you're talking out loud and you have so many ideas going in your head, I'm always amazed at how many get left out. Mm-hmm. Like in the end, you're like, yeah, we covered everything. And then at the end, I'm like, oh God, I missed all sorts of stuff I wanted to talk about. So then we get Blackbeard. There were only 5 pirates. The captain called himself Blackbeard. They were immensely powerful. We never had a chance. They defeated us before we knew what had hit us. 5 pirates, you must be kidding. Blackbeard? Yeah.
Only 5 pirates. What does that remind you of?
Yeah, you know what it reminds me of.
What does it remind you of? That's weird.
It reminds me of the 5 people that I was talking about, the 5 different animals.
Oh, well, I was thinking of something different, which is another pirate crew with only 5 pirates currently.
Oh, who has 5 pirates currently? Would that be Buggy?
No, Buggy's got a whole bunch of his band of misfits.
Dude, you're allowed to talk to me about stuff I've already read, aren't you?
Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Chopper, Usopp. Or sorry, before Chopper, Sanji.
Oh, you're talking about our own people.
The Straw Hats are 5 pirates as of the East Blue, before Chopper.
Yeah,
so it's Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Usopp, Nami. When they left the East Blue, when they show up on Drum Island, they have 5 pirates.
So it's kind of like a dark version of what's taking place with when
I read there was only 5 pirates, that's what came to mind for me. I was like, we only have 5 pirates.
That's more than fascinating. The idea that
at first when I watched that at first.
Yeah. I think that would hit different as a watch. I thought it's interesting now that you showed me that piece. I'm starting to think like, whoa, there's a lot of things that would hit so different if you were watching it.
The difficulty is there's a lot that they're just interpreting with guesswork, so it also sometimes
Yeah.
misleads people. And I think because you're diving into themes, the manga is how you're gonna get more accurate information. Because I think it often
I
skews
don't
your
disagree.
experience.
But it's interesting the idea of having kind of like a doppelganger group who are growing in strength.
Hey, frack up. Vivi's not a pirate. If we're counting the number of pirates who show up on Drum Island, Vivi's not a pirate. That's a princess.
Well, similar.
Look, you're similar. Yeah, ethically similar.
Ethically similar.
Yeah, but they're good princesses. They're good pirates.
Pirate.
You know, when you think about it, stealing wealth from the working class, pretty similar.
That's the only thing that you're doing different is one of you is wearing a crown. One of you is wearing a
fucking badass tricorn hat. I don't know. Yeah. Seems like pirates win. Someone said give Bellamy a treat if you want to look at the stream real quick.
I can't see it. I can't see you streaming.
Goodbye, my boy. Whoop.
There you are, Bellamy. Such a cute baby.
Whoops, a daisy. We zoomed out. We zoomed out chat on our way in. He's a good boy.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. As I said, I can't see it. Okay. The other thing I wondered there is I couldn't remember, and I couldn't find it because I just didn't have time because I have a job and a whole world. I couldn't remember when was the last time we were talking about Blackbeard.
Never come up before.
Are you sure?
Positive. Blackbeard has not come up before this point.
That's weird. I really had felt like I had read about him. Wow. Fascinating. Because when I read this, I was like, where was the last time I heard about him? So that's fascinating that my brain had just filled it in.
People want to know your thought on the Lapins.
Are we talking about my rabbits?
You're talking about your rabbits, your snow bunnies.
We're not there yet. Don't even start me.
Okay, we're going up the mountain. Nami's going up the mountain. Aren't we there?
Yeah, I think we're almost there. I was going to go into next. I haven't gone to my next chapter. Okay, we can go ahead into in the Django's Dance Paradise. I was so happy to get to see the little moment where we see Usopp's best friend out in the world becoming a doctor.
Yeah,
it was a nice little moment. High five. She killing it, or opposite of killing it.
Is she reviving it? I don't know.
She reviving it. Okay, so we go up into the mountain. They're climbing. Nami's on the back. We see a cute little bunny, just like the little bunnies that Japanese children will make in the snow. And then we're like, what a cute little bunny. And then, killer bunny! Out comes giant bunny. Was really torn here because it's a beautiful little giant bunny. But I also understand why if you are the good people running up the hill, you wouldn't want to be attacked by them. That little bunny, though, was able to eat a tree in half. So let me just tell you, those are some crazy ass bunnies because I thought those were going to be the baddest bunnies, and then they were the small version.
If we're going to power scale Lapins,
okay, yeah, let's talk about that. Because
Usopp versus Lapin, who wins?
Usopp versus Lapin?
Yeah.
That's not even a fight. Lapin's kick his ass.
Like, I just feel like the thing is, Zoro, Sanji, Luffy, I think can take a Lapin no problem.
I agree.
But Nami and Usopp, I think Lapin just wins, no diff.
No, Lapin totally wins because there's a frame where the Lapin literally, the little Lapin with his big giant, I don't know, monster bear teeth. Actually, they look like shark teeth. Bites a tree in half, lands it on them, and then runs at 3 trillion kilometers an hour all around them before Sanji does a bad thing and kicks it.
What's he supposed to do? Although, I will say, Sanji's starting to build up a habit of animal abuse, isn't he?
He really is. I was just about to say, well, I don't know if you remember when he put my 2 good buddies to sleep.
We all have a a meme in the community about Zoro that is way too early to tell you about. But no one's talked about animal abuse Sanji, which I think we should also consider. Now it's been a dinosaur, it's been the Unluckies, it's been the Lapins.
But the Luckies don't count because they're just resting.
They're just resting.
And then we see that the little lapin that he kicked is actually about the size of the paw of the real sized lapins. Come on. Those are eating Usopp. They'll just open their mouth, swallow Usopp whole. And Usopp will be inside being, this is a noble way to die.
I'm a brave warrior of the sea being eaten by a rabbit.
I love that for Usopp. Okay. Where am I? Oh, the witch, finding out the witch and how she is felt very Nami-ish. Okay, hear me out. Like she just,
okay,
because she has that same goodness where she's like, yeah, I want to heal you. I want to be a good person, but she also has that same drive for payment.
Yeah.
And so it feels like they have a very similar character in that way.
Truly, Dr. Kureha does feel like Nami's archetype, just old.
That's exactly what I said. So it felt like if Nami had stayed in this area and had been a doctor, like it was same. They were very similar people.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's wicked. I love the idea that you said that people are asking for Jamie Lee Curtis to play her.
Yep.
I want to put out there that Jamie Lee Curtis is way hotter than this witch doctor.
Just give her a prosthetic nose.
You're gonna have to do a lot more than that.
What if they don't? What if it's just a prosthetic nose and otherwise it's Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't make old Needle Nose that needle nosy in the live action.
Yep.
So, yeah, they could get around it. They could make her a little hotter. It would make some of the things that she said make more sense because she's like, how do I stay this young? And you're like, well, honestly, yeah, like, I guess your body looks young, but your face ain't rocking it.
Something to note in One Piece is radically body positive. There are a ton of characters who are not conventionally attractive who are so confident with how they look.
Oh, I'm here for it. But she says it nonstop. How do I keep my youthful looks? And you're like, I don't know that you have youthful looks, but okay.
She's like 128 or something like that.
No, she's 139.
139, sorry, I forgot. She's, I think, pretty youthful looking given the age.
I mean, 139, yeah, but I've never met anyone who's 139. She's walking around like a absolute boss, I'll tell you that much. Django's Dance Paradise, East Blue, most popular destination, the Mirror Ball Island. This is really weird. Are you still there?
I'm here.
Yeah, you go away from me all the time.
No, I am just listening sometimes.
Okay. So the Mirror Ball Island, we're here with him, and he is, I don't really understand it at first, this Mirror Ball Island, but I'm happy for him.
Do you want to, instead of chapter by chapter, just kind of touch on the Django cover story at the end of Drum Island quick?
I would really love that.
Because I think chapter by chapter, we can't go as quick as we need to.
Yeah, I would agree. How about we save it to the end and go back?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, love that. Okay, so I didn't really understand the need for the avalanche. I wasn't that hyped up on the avalanche, except for I did understand that we needed to bury my awesome captain who left Wapol. Super excited when I got to find out that he used to work for Wapol and that he had left him. I couldn't have happened to a crappier human being. So
coming down so hard on Wapol, the king of Drum Island.
I just hate that dude so much. In fact, if you're not Japanese, you won't understand, but Wapol shine. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's right. I just said that.
Wow.
He knows what I said.
So intense.
You have no idea. But that was bad.
The reason I think it was necessary to have the Lapin, someone's pointing this out, but I was thinking the same thing, is that it shows Luffy trying not to fight his way up the mountain. He befriends them, he fights through the avalanche, it's trials, trials and tribulations. It's very difficult for him to get up the mountain, but he knows he'll risk Nami if he just fights the Lapins the way he could. So he's being diplomatic and he's protecting his crew by approaching this a way he normally wouldn't.
I completely agree. And it showed again, and I think that this is really important, because it shows the growth of his listening to people and learning lessons from them. Because Sanji is telling him, if you do this, she'll die. If you do that, she'll die. And normally I think that Luffy is the type of character who had been really rash in the past and wouldn't listen to people. Like you saw when they were like, don't just get off the boat. And he's like, I gotta go. And he didn't take a moment to pause and consider what they were saying. And they really did show that huge character growth with him listening to Sanji and being like, yeah, okay, I'm being an ass. I have to tone it down here, which is a really cool thing to get to see again. So in the last arc, I think we really saw a lot of growth in Usopp. And in this one, I'm thinking we're really getting to see a lot of growth in Luffy as a character. And I'm here for it. It was a timely piece because I think we're moving into areas where Luffy is going to need to have more ability to lead. And so I think that it's going to be really, really important that he learns these lessons quickly.
Yeah, because I think he naturally has an aptitude with the part of leadership of it motivating people, inspiring them, bringing people to action. But like, there's more to leadership than just that. As much as that's the hardest part and the part that you kind of need a natural aptitude for, which he has, there's a lot of leadership that he doesn't understand and is not good at yet.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that this was the perfect place to kind of go through Luffy's growth. And I think that doing it in the cold, there's this thing with geisha where when geisha were being trained before they became full geisha, which means art person, they would do what was called lessons in the cold. And they would take their learning outside to do it in the cold because there was this idea that being able to do it in the cold made it so much more difficult that if you were able to do it there, you could do it even better when you were in the right circumstances. Okay. And so I kind of love this idea of Luffy almost having like lessons in leadership in the cold and becoming this person that he has to eventually be learning in this cold environment because it's almost like under this type of duress. And then when you're in a warmer, normal climate, let's see how those stick. So it was kind of a neat little parallel for me.
That's kind of cool. Someone wanted to know what your thoughts were when Nami got sick about the comment from several of the Straw Hats that they've never been sick before. Okay, so Sanji, Luffy, and Usopp said they'd never been sick before, but Zoro didn't. He has been sick.
I don't know if Zoro. I was trying to remember if Zoro was in the room, and I almost talked about that last arc. So this is one of the problems when bad people read ahead. Sometimes you forget.
Yeah, when you read ahead, sometimes you forget what has and hasn't been talked about because we're not breaking things up as intended.
Peaceful spirit. Because when I looked at that, I was Usopp, and that was, I called you about that. Remember? Because I said, bloody hell. Am I going to have to take Usopp of the never ever going to be a god category? Because over here in this panel, it says that he has never been sick, and Sanji had never been sick, and Luffy had never been sick. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, not Usopp. I'm still not taking him out yet, but just know that I have a pin in that page now because of it.
Okay.
Because when they included Usopp and the never been sick before, and having her been so surprised about it, I was like, no. But I'm still going to stick with it in the meantime, and we'll see how that goes. Okay. We have gone far too long without talking about the very best part of the entire piece.
Okay.
Tony Chopper.
Oh, apparently I'm not gonna get we're not gonna get sidetracked by what chat said. I'll look into that later. Tony Chopper time.
It is Tony Chopper time. I just gotta tell you, everyone's right. Let's just delay all the guessworks. Number one this week is going to be Tony Chopper.
Oh damn! Skip into the closing segment. Number one character of the week, Tony Chopper. Anthony Helicopter gets the number one seed.
Yeah, how can he not? Come on. He's just everything that is right and wonderful with this world. And to think that when he gets his ability and he eats the human fruit and he becomes a human, or has human capabilities, that he uses those human capabilities for healing. Chef's kiss. That kid is awesome. Like, I just couldn't believe how lucky the world was. We don't deserve Tony Chopper. He's too good for us. I'm super happy with that character development. And you and I had a bit of a thing about this when I called you.
Mm-hmm.
I was really disturbed why everyone keeps calling him a monster. Like, and I know you're like, he's a monster, he's speaking, and blah, blah. No, we've seen true monsters. Like, they didn't have that kind of weird reaction with Laboon, and I know he didn't talk, but they don't have that kind of reaction for giants that are quadrillion bignesses, giant buildings walking around. They've seen a ton of things that are strange and odd. They've seen people that are strange and odd. But the thing that freaks everyone out is the world's cutest reindeer with a little blue nose that can speak.
Well, to be fair, his nose is blue.
Ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
He does have a very blue nose.
No. So it's a weird anomaly to me that people are having such a strange reaction to Tony Chopper and talking about what a monster he is. Everybody in the town, everybody in the Straw Hats, everybody's talking about what a monster he is. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Lapins are so cute. The little bunnies are amazing and cute, though they will eat you. But yeah, those would be monsters. I could see it. But a cute little creature who's always with a person who's healing you, that's freaking you out? That was weird.
So I think it's because two reasons. As people are pointing out, he's meant to be a Rudolph and Frankenstein analogy.
Obviously.
Illusion.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
But in the text, I think the only explanation I have is the other things are known entities. He's one of a kind. There's nothing like him. So people who have an idea of what the world is like see him, and they don't have an explanation. He doesn't fit their worldview.
Yeah, but there's other things that are one of a kind too. Like, I think Buggy the Clown should freak you out a lot more than him. I think
Buggy the Clown does freak most people out. Like,
they freak him out in the way that they're scared of him, but they're not running around going monster, monster. And I think there should be a lot more of that. Like, I think the reaction.
And there's a reason that every time Buggy thinks he hears the word nose, he kills someone.
No, but it's a different feeling. Like, but they are terrified of this cute, wonderful little looking reindeer, and that's weird.
He's such a monster. You see this 3-foot tall toddler reindeer in a top hat, and you just think this is a monster.
Oh, I wish I hadn't laughed so hard in that moment. You're gonna have to delete it out. It was so loud, it's gonna blow out a speaker.
It was actually so loud that Discord no longer recognized it as human, and it didn't show up basically at all.
That's awesome. It was so unexpected. Who expects you to talk about a 3-foot toddler terrifying monster?
Toddler reindeer is clearly this world's definition of monster. Island-sized goldfish, that's just a goldfish.
Yeah, it was the same thing with the Straw Hats, though. They called him a monster and ran away in fear until they tried to eat him. Don't talk about it.
He's got cryptid energy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. The White Walkies looking just like a combination of a few of the things on Star Wars. Absolutely adorable.
Okay.
It'll come as a surprise to everyone that I enjoyed them.
I'm shocked, actually.
I do have to admit, I want to move forward. Luffy gets to the top, but don't forget the moment, because you had forgotten it, that Luffy actually rescues one of the larger rabbits out of the snow when he got stuck in the avalanche, which is why afterwards, when they come after Luffy on the hill, when Wapol the Worst comes out onto the hill and is attacking them, the rabbits help him. And then what does Wapol do to the rabbits? Myrtleates them.
Yeah, beats them the fuck up and tries to kill them.
Myrtleates the living crap out of them.
Yeah. So I want to do my meme of why do you hate him, but it's pretty awful. I want to keep the joke going, but I can't be like, oh, they're so good of him when he's just beating up rabbits.
No,
Hard,
no, I'm
hard
not in
to
there.
hard to play devil's advocate in that moment. TBH.
But it did do one very important thing.
Uh-huh.
I can't believe I have to say this, that it was an important thing, because you know that I hate wapol. But as far as in the story goes, it really helped us to understand wapol's strength, because keeping in mind how strong these rabbits are, and then we see a picture of wapol and his two henchmen all side by side, and
It lets you know
now
he's not
we
just
know.
a joke. He poses a threat.
No, absolutely. But then we know how strong the
Yeah.
rabbits are. We've already seen the strength level of the rabbits. We know that Wapol and his two henchmen beat him, which also then lets us know how much stronger Luffy is when Luffy finally beats Wapol.
I mean, I think it tells us how strong Luffy is just because Luffy already sent him the fuck away with one hit. Like, I got the feeling watching this the first time as a teen that this is another instance, like possibly more than ever before, that like Luffy's fighting below his weight class this arc.
I agree, except for seeing the rabbits, having Luffy fight some of the rabbits and having some difficulties on the way up because he didn't want to kill Nami.
Yeah.
And then having Wapol.
Weak. Yeah, the rabbits are a threat.
Exactly. It does show some leveling, and it does show some power. And so I think it was an important thing as a reminder to us while we were reading this section that Wapol is high in strength, because that way it helped remind us when Luffy eventually gets to fight him.
Someone in chat saying that Wapol didn't murder any of the rabbits. He just sent them to hang out with their good friends Otter and Vulture.
You tell that person that I appreciate them.
You were appreciated.
Even though on in chapter 138, page 18, it shows Wapol, the terrible piece of junk, and his stupid sidekicks standing on prone bodies. I agree.
Look, the anime made them alive at the end for the cherry blossom scene.
I was trying to figure out whether it made them all alive or some of them alive, though. Like, I was thinking, like, is this just me and wishful thinking, or are they alive? They're alive. This person is not wrong. They're alive.
Yeah. The anime lied to us, clearly.
Yeah. I'm moving faster and moving forward because I want to be.
Let's keep going. We want to get to Corkboard Corner and also a special surprise segment I'm going to drop on you, but we'll get there.
Yeah, that's great.
We got to get to the special surprise segment.
You always have such fun things. Let's never forget to talk about how my great little man Chopper hides like part of his head and acts as if he's hiding his whole little body.
I love Chopper's bit so much. Well, his two bits are that he calls people a bastard and says, "I don't want to be flattered, you bastard," while being clearly flattered and being like, "No, give me compliments. I love this."
It's so good.
His other bit of not knowing at all how the fuck to hide.
Yeah. You're peeking the wrong way. I can still see you. Get lost, human! So good.
I feel like if... Oh, did someone just did push-ups. Someone spent 2,500. You get to talk to chat on your own for a bit. I gotta go do push-ups.
Oh, you have to do push-ups. All right, chat. I'm talking to you, but I can barely see you. Are you going to tell me secret things while he's away? All right, let's see what chat has to say. I'm going into chat.
Having enough people with lots of points that I'm going to have to be doing that a few times every stream. And you know what? It's good. It's good to have activity when you're doing something sedentary like this.
Push-ups. You know why the person gave you push-ups? Is because you gave me such a low rating for my first ever get something right prediction.
You got a gold star.
That person was like, not enough, not enough. Fight the oppressors. Fight them. Okay, here we go. Okay, the character of the witch, we've gone into a lot, but I love the idea. There are only two ways a patient ever leaves my care. Fully recovered or dead. Stunning. Jamie Lee Curtis would rock that.
It does have her energy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's truly a Jamie Lee Curtis moment. She would kill this. And I don't know if there's anything to it, or I have to wonder, or if it's just a passing thing about how she got sick and how it's a tick that bit them there on that island. But I'm going to put that in. If it comes up, I'll think about it again.
All right.
Her way of being sick. But I don't know, for some reason, I feel like I need to be a little bit wondering about it.
My read of it, when I first went through, was just it was a way to make it hard to cure because it's an ancient disease.
Yeah, and that's what my read is right now, but there's just a niggling feeling in the back of my mind. You know, when you don't know why you think something, but the smarter part of your brain that you can't access all the time is like, I feel something there.
I don't think that's the smarter part of your brain. I think that's the crazier part of your brain, which means it's right sometimes, and when it is right, it's spectacular, but it's also crazy.
How dare you?
That's
all the parts of my brain are all the parts of my brain are the crazier parts of my brain. Okay. Did not like the idea of Luffy and Sanji trying to eat Chopper. Did not like it, but it does have a nice little moment where we get to see that Chopper can take care of himself by leveling up and punching them into the ground. Probably don't think that was good for the spine injury, but I mean, live and learn. Don't piss off Chopper.
Yep.
So, meh. And then the doctor. Chopper's backstory was awful. I don't know, Oda. I don't know if Oda and I are going to get along until I'm finished the next arc, because that was a Laboon moment, but hyped up. That was
Don't worry. There won't be any sadder backstories for a while.
Are you?
It'll be a bit.
You're a brat.
It'll be a little bit till there's anything sadder than Chopper's backstory wise. A little while.
Who raised you? You're just killing my soul here. Because that backstory was, oh God, yeah, emotional damage.
I sobbed as a teenager watching it for the first time. When does a man die, Chopper?
When does a man die?
There's something particularly brutal about someone's final words being thanking someone for the role they've played in their life, and I think Oda does it so brilliantly. It
was more, because first they show that he accidentally ate this fruit. He didn't know what he was getting into. He was living a normal life. He had a community. He had love. And then, boom, he eats this fruit. The community that he was used to suddenly sees him as something entirely other. And once he's other, he becomes a monster. And then he figures, well, I guess I'm a human now. And walks off into the human area. And then he gets there and they call him a monster. And everyone's calling my great good buddy Chopper a monster. And he has nowhere that he belongs, which is just this crushing piece, because everybody feels what it feels like to be so alone. And then he finds somebody who sees him and sees into his heart and who he really, really is, and loves him, and then eventually calls him his son. You're the worst. How dare you show me that video?
Yep.
It's just so bad to have. And then that time where they're trying to close the door and Chopper gets so angry because right on top of the door are the baby snowbirds. So rather than displace these small baby snowbirds, he leaves the door open, fills the entire castle with snow, and just they bear themselves down in rooms and keep them heated, all to allow these little babies to live. So despite everything that has happened to him, despite all the pain, the heartache, the death, he still has this beautiful heart and keeps these little baby birds alive.
One of the things I think is most beautiful in the backstory is, especially in the manga, in the anime they actually make some changes and oddly enough make Dr. Hiruluke less terrible of a person to the villagers, and I think it weakens it for me. Because for me, what's great about Dr. Hiruluke's story is that he is a man who wants nothing more than to help people. He wants nothing more than to make the world a better place, and he's absolute shit at it. He's so terrible at making the world better, but it's all he wants is to be a good person. And raising Chopper and seeing his adopted son become a good person who wants to help people. First of all, he's actually helped someone, but he has this there's this feeling to him that he's like, oh, I've finally made the world a better place because you exist, Chopper. Because you are here.
Yes.
I've succeeded in my goal of making the world
Yes.
better.
Yes.
That's beautiful to me.
Yeah. And I think that the moment in the little clip you sent me where he screams out, I have lived a good life. Thank you, Chopper. Okay, I'm crying again.
Yeah, me too. Don't worry.
I have tears rolling. Get it together. You got this. And then Chopper is standing there crying, you didn't kill me. And I just, in that moment, to think that your life was fulfilled because you know that you've passed on the best parts of yourself in someone that you have faith is even better than you. Oh,
Knowing this scene is coming is why I was a little skeptical when you were talking about the importance of inherited will in Dragon's speech, and you were talking about, so this means something has to be inherited through a family. Knowing this was coming, I was skeptical of that and wanted to go back to that right now just to point out that I think a major theme of One Piece is that what you inherit from the people who inspire you is more important than what you inherit from your family.
yeah, and I would say that you're right. Absolutely. I just think that there's going to be a family connection piece, but you're absolutely right that One Piece does a great job of it's the connections you make, it's the family you make as well. And they're just as important, if not more sometimes.
Also,
And
so no, you finish. Sorry.
oh no, go ahead.
No, it's unrelated. I thought you were
Okay. And I think that they point that out in the crew because the crew is becoming family. Like we're not there yet.
But it's getting there. They're becoming a found
But
family.
it is getting there. Bigger and bigger mistake. Every day I hate Whiskey Island a little more for the one when they fought. Because
every family has trials and tribulations, though.
I don't disagree with that. I just think that it wasn't the way to do that.
No.
And I agree. Like I don't get to do a lot of looking at anything in One Piece. I can look in the first one sometimes, but I have to be careful in the comments, so I can't really go there anymore. Especially now that it's popular because people say things. But I think that, for instance, Sanji and Zoro are very much like brothers. Like they have these fights and they have all these disagreements, but it feels like a brotherly fight and that there's a ton of love within inside of it. But that's changed recently. I think that we're really getting to see a transition of that love. I don't think it was something that happened right away. Yeah.
Someone pointed out something. Actually, first of all, thank you, Trevenant Forest. They subbed with Prime, and everybody else should, so that we can reach our payout goal. It means these subs this early mean so goddamn much because the channel is tiny and new, and it's amazing every time there's a new sub. Then the other thing I wanted to say, someone pointed out that we both used the phrase that Hero Luke wanted to be a good person, and they said that's kind of a weird phrase, and what it really is, it's not that Hero Luke is bad at being a good person. I think they're totally right. This is the right phrasing. He wants to make the world better. He wants to help people. He wants to make people happier. He wants the world to be a better place, and because of that, he is a good person. What he's bad at is that helping, and Chopper gave him an opportunity to succeed at that.
Yeah, but I also, the older I get, the more that I know that there is a wanting to be a good person, right? Like you might have bad results over and over, but you're doing them for the right reason because you want to be good. You want to help. So yeah, you are a good person because you want to be good, but there's two parts to that. It's kind of like when people talk about when you're like, oh my God, am I a narcissist? A narcissist wouldn't ask that question, right? But there's this feeling that you're like, I don't want to be a narcissist. What tendencies do I have that would be kind of like that? And what about me? Am I doing things that are making me worried about it? What about me am I doing that makes me be concerned about that? But I think that for him, he would have to question it all the time because he knows he keeps hurting people by accident.
Yep.
Like it's not hidden from him. I thought, what was it? I thought was it a newt? What was it that he tried to give someone? I thought the eye of the newt would help.
Yeah, something like that when he turned the
Lizard
person
eye.
and made him think he was a frog.
Yes. And so it's like he knows he's messing up and he doesn't want to mess up. But he knows he is, but he wants to be good at his job. He wants to do well. He's just not.
And it's also what I like about Dr. Correa, where she's like, look, he wanted to help, but if you actually want to do this, it's hard work. You have to study first. You have to learn medicine. You have to know what you're doing. So if you really want to live up to what he wanted for you and for the world, work hard. Learn how to be a real doctor.
Yeah. And you're right, though, because the doctor's greatest thing that he did is make a good doctor and then put him with the right people to make a good doctor. Because when Luffy and Sanji and Nami make it to the top of the cliff, and Luffy is like bared down, his fingertips look like they were bone, like he was bleeding out all over the wall. Sanji had what did he say? A broken rib and a fractured back, and there's this problem. And then she said the biggest problem is this girl here. And then Chopper says, should I start surgery? So we're talking Chopper has the kind of skills now where he's able to perform surgeries, right?
Something interesting about One Piece, I've talked to someone about this before, is that specialization matters in all regards. What specialty you have as a fighter, what specialty you have as a doctor, all of that matters. And Chopper's main thing he's good at is pharmacology. So like treating illnesses is his main thing. But he's trained enough that despite that being his main goal and what he primarily cares about, he can also do surgery.
Yeah, 100%, which is incredible. Okay, I'm moving into here so that we can get out of that part because I want to get into... Oh, before I forget.
Surgery with hooves, yeah.
Surgery with hooves, like how does that work? What do his tools look like? When he became a human, when he ate the human fruit, did he gain dexterity in his hooves?
It's hard to say what's up with Lil Chop sometimes.
All right. Okay, I want to do the subscribe thing.
All right, before we head into our corkboard corner and before we head into the end of the arc, because we haven't gotten to the fight, which I think is gonna be pretty quick.
Yeah, we're almost in the fight, but I wanted to do the subscribe thing because you went and kept the 1, 2, 3 in last time,
I promise to not unless it's really cute and endearing,
like a cheeky jerk. Okay, are you ready?
We're ready. I'm ready. Chat, wait. Chat, are you ready? Are you ready for the subscribe plug, chat? It's so important that you're ready.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. If you're enjoying this, why don't you hit the subscribe button, give it a like so that other people can find it later on. Share it with a friend. I don't know, put it on all the socials, maybe hire a skywriter. Start a podcast about it, stick it in the newspaper, the regular things. Get the information out there. We totally appreciate it.
This is a very normal amount to ask of people. I kind of skipped over Dr. Alligator 69's sub because we were in the middle of discussion, but I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Dr. Alligator 69.
Dr. Alligator Face.
Alligator Face. His name's Sir Crocodile, god damn it. And I know you've seen his face now because he read ahead again.
And you don't know that for sure.
All right. I've got tragic news for you. We're not... Oh, wait. No. We got to do the fight first, then the tragic news. Forgot the fight. I keep forgetting because it's Wapol.
And because you just want him to lose so badly because you hate him?
Yeah, just... Okay, so Wapol shows back up and he's like, I don't know, I'm angry. I want to be king again. I'm done being a pirate. I'm here to fuck everything up and be a memorable villain.
Are you saying this because Wapol's the worst?
Look, he's not the best.
He's the worst. Shine Wapol. Shine. Yeah, no, he's the worst, and I feel that feel.
He's okay, not great.
So you know what was really cool about the fight? We kind of talked before, and you told me, and I just want to correct me if I'm wrong, but you said he continues to change the way in which he writes his piece. So as you're going through, you're going to find he tries a bunch of new things to make it interesting. So even like the drawing, the way he does background, the way he does font, everything will continue to change as he finds other new ways of doing things.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I thought it was really kind of amazing when Wapol eats his two main men. And one of them has the name of the one who has the pom-poms that he can chuck at people. His name means some sort of weird ocean food that's actually really popular to eat, which I thought was kind of interesting. And when he eats them, after they come out, all of their font on the page is done in almost like a shadow.
Mm-hmm.
So it almost looks like there's two people speaking within it at once, which I thought was a really cool way to do it. So every single one of his words has a shadow piece in it. So you can almost hear the duet of the voices together. And I just love that. And then he also did a thing where he made the lies that Usopp is telling, or the fables that Usopp is telling, be in like a storyteller font, which was a really cool thing too. I don't know why yet.
I don't know how easy it is to access scans of the original Japanese so we can compare, because obviously these are interpreted fonts. So I'm very curious how similar they are to what it was written in Japanese.
Yeah, I am too now, because I'm wondering if he did that same kind of neat doubled type, and then if he also had a different type of kanji for the storytelling, because I don't know. Yeah, but I would be really interested in seeing that. I'd be really interested in finding a couple of Japanese friends who we could talk to alongside sometimes, so that when we're saying things, they could be like, yeah, no, or yeah.
Man,
because
if I knew, well, I do know someone who speaks some Japanese and probably could read along with us, but it's a big ask because he's in the JET program, so he's actually teaching English in Japan right now.
That's a huge ask.
Yeah, he's kind of busy.
I had someone, but he graduated and went back to Japan. Quite rude. Yeah. He was teaching me Japanese phrases when he was here, and he is deeply missed right now, I'll tell you that.
He'd be very helpful on your quest. Maybe Facebook him.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, So I love the two voices, because it also reminds me of the Fates, the way that they sometimes write the Fates in Greek tales now in a two voice, in a duality, and I really love that. So I think it's really, really cool that he's decided to change the font. So now I'm going to pay a lot more attention in the pieces to what the font is doing, because it's also helping to tell a story. Yeah.
Kaito's pointing out that we have now, very important, I'm saying Kaito. Kaito is pointing out that we have now reached the part where the scene you chose to draw this week is.
Okay. Ugh. Okay, that scene was stunning. So the fight was okay for me. It wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah. If we're gonna be honest, like I think some of the fights we've had before far outweigh this fight.
Yeah, there are bigger bad guys who are with more fun choreography than Wapol.
Yeah, I would think so. Although the moment that he eats them and turns two into one was pretty cool.
Yeah, fusing his mooks together is cool.
Yeah, and I like when he eats himself. I mean,
which is wild, but you know what? You do you, man.
Yeah, that's another one of those, when you say it out loud, you can't believe you just say, I like it when he eats himself. But the very coolest moment, because we talked early when the bird takes Luffy and flies him away, and then Zoro chooses to go after Luffy. When Luffy decides that Nami is going to be his person, and they have a quick thing because they both go after the same item and help each other out, and in the fight they're bonded together. Every single time Luffy gets a new crewmate, there's kind of this beginning moment that does a fast click between the two of them, and then between all of them, and this was the fast click. And that's one of the reasons that I just love this, because Luffy is stunning at reading the needs of people. And don't call Chopper a not people.
No, Chopper's a people. Come on,
Chopper's
what do you think? You think I'm a monster? I'm not Chopper.
Dare you disappoint?
Come on, chat, hit me up. That one was good. That one was a good, chat, right?
No more.
Give me credit,
leave-
chat.
You leave my chopper alone. Okay, so I can't see chat, but I'm going to tell you right now, there's no way they're on your side.
At least one of them said W, so I got at least one.
Okay, so this was the moment, the fast bond moment, because when Wapol the Worst fires away at his flag after he's told him, like, you know, you shouldn't even be allowed to touch this flag, blah, blah, blah. And then he fires away at it. Luffy is only just healed from climbing up the gazillion-foot drum mountain. And once again, he gets up onto the top of the castle and climbs up with his newly forged fingers and grabs on to the flag and refuses, this flag shall not drop, and holds it. And boom, off goes the cannon. And Wapol feels like, you know, I've 100% killed this kid. Finally, this pain in the ass is dead. And then what's standing when the smoke clears? Luffy, holding the flag, refusing to let it go, because he knows not only how important the flag is to him and what being a pirate means to Luffy, but how important it is to Chopper. And he has this respect for Chopper. Well, he had this moment of absolute love for Chopper during the fight where he couldn't even move because his eyes were filled with stars and he was just so overwhelmed with how cool Chopper was. But it was in that moment that they had that awesome fast bond where you knew 100% Chopper is going with him. If we're going to be honest, I knew the second I saw Chopper's antlers. But
that's for Corkboard Corner.
But that's for Corkboard Corner. And so you know that's the bonding moment where now Chopper is like, I'm gonna follow this guy to the end of the earth, whether he knows it or not. So then we had the moment when the witch is like, go away, I don't want you to be here, and throwing rocks at him, basically, which is, it's a trope that I don't love anymore, because I'm like, how about just hugging people and telling them it's okay? But in the part where you drew the picture of, he says, see, it's unbreakable. Oh, come on, Luffy. Dude.
I feel like Luffy's going to be back in the top 5 this week, is my prediction.
Luffy, that moment, those words, his dark eyes, that was sweet. So it also helped me to see Luffy again and be like, oh, I see you, Luffy. You're killing it.
I mean, I think this arc was a lot about Luffy's growth, so I think it makes sense that he's winning you back over here.
Absolutely. But the moment that was even more special there is they have their little talk about the flag. I don't know who it belonged to, but this flag is a promise of life. You don't fly it lightly. It's not something to be laughed or shot at. And all that is whatever. But then you see down in the corner Chopper, and he goes, so this is a pirate. And then it goes back in time to him talking to the doctor who used to be a pirate, and says, what is a pirate? And then he goes into all these memories while he's watching Luffy stand up for him, when Luffy has no connection to him and no reason to. And he says, I'm going to clobber these guys. What are you going to do? And so he doesn't just do it for him, because Luffy is a remover of obstacles. And your illustrious wife said that after I said that the last time, she was thinking about how often they are self-inflicted obstacles. And then Luffy comes in and he shines a light on it, but he doesn't just undo it for somebody. He includes them, because you can't just take an obstacle away from someone. You have to help give them agency again, so they feel like they are powerful enough and capable enough to remove the obstacle with you. Because if you just remove someone's obstacle, they don't feel like they earned it or deserve it, and it's not going to change them. So Luffy lets people change themselves, and that's so powerful and so cool.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, Luffy is, after all, my favorite character in the series.
Yeah, well, he's pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie. 10 out of 10, Luffy. 10 out of 10. And so somebody said here, because I came back into your picture.
You're going to see chat sometimes. Kaido's doing a good job at reducing the spoilers too. We're having it be a pretty controlled chat.
Thank you, Kaido. But when I came back in, because I have to refresh the page every time because I'm not seeing you live time, it's weird. This person said they're not self-induced obstacles as much as they're trauma-based obstacles. And I do agree, but sometimes they're not trauma obstacles. Like when the two giants are fighting each other, that's an obstacle they put in their way. Their pride is the obstacle, right? And they have chosen to have this fight. The fight wasn't put upon them. They made the fight happen, and they chose to be stuck. And Luffy helped them to remove that obstacle. And there's a few. Sorry, go ahead.
Like I think self-inflicted is the common theme, not trauma, because some of them have trauma, but they're all self-inflicted, whether it's because of trauma or not. Zoro's isn't trauma imposed. His obstacle is he's allowed himself to be imprisoned for the sake of this girl, and Luffy's like, that's not actually going to do anything. You're just gonna die.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's a few moments like that. And then on top of it, maybe the reason that they can't pull themselves out of it over and over again might be trauma with many of them. I think that in many cases it is. It's hard to move past things when you're steeped in trauma and you have so many pieces working against you, because it's like life on difficult mode. But Luffy comes in and basically says to people, no, you have more agency than you think. And I'm here with you. I'm not just going to ask you to fight on your own. We're together. Let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so he becomes that helping hand, because people always forget, like we like to imagine that the saying pull yourself up from the bootstraps means that you're supposed to be able to pull yourself out of muck. I'm going to put this in here. You're supposed to be able to pull yourself up by your bootstraps on your own. But that's not the original saying, because the original saying actually
to make fun of the idea of pure self-reliance, because it's impossible to pull yourself up by your bootstraps because they're attached to you.
Yeah, and it actually said, the original one was that to pull yourself up by your bootstraps is an impossible thing, and it went on in the saying to talk about what it actually meant. And it had a whole saying that went with it, that you're going to need the hand and the help of others. And so that's exactly what's taking place here. Like 100%, every time Luffy removes obstacles, the other person has to be involved in it. They have agency, but he doesn't just walk away.
Mm-hmm.
He's part of it, which is awesome.
Is there anything else on Drum Island we need to touch on? Or do you want to quickly, are we ready to quickly talk about Django before moving on to the corners?
Okay, so let's go back. I may or I may not have something, but it doesn't matter. Oh, I do have a little thing that I think is really kind of just beautiful. Okay. So when the doctor gets the thing he needs, after your son sends you a video that sends you into tears and makes it so that your mood is now sentimental broken, the doctor's moment when he finally makes the thing that he meant to do and the snow falls and it's pink. The Japanese have a few different words for the way that the snow falls. Mm-hmm. And one of them is kasahana. It's a Kazanahana, kasahana, and it means snow petals in the sun. And it's the idea that sometimes the snow takes on a look that's identical to the flowers of a sakura. And when it falls, it pulls one into spring while standing in winter. And so I just thought that this was a pretty cool moment that they decided to use. They didn't change the atmosphere like everyone might have been thinking they were going to. How are you going to have snow petals here? And we might have thought, oh, we're going to change the atmosphere and create an area where they could be. But instead, they used what they had. He used what was there already and then brought the snow petals in the only way that they could come. And I thought that was a really neat lesson.
I loved it. I love Dr. Hiroluke's goal so much. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Stunning. And then the pill that he took that allowed him to have 7 different levels.
Yeah, so they kind of explain in this arc that Zoan is a type of devil fruit that allows you to turn into an animal, and it gives you, by default, everyone has access to your normal form, a fully transformed form, and a hybrid form that's a mix. And Chopper's the rumble ball, lets him kind of push the wavelengths of that transformation a little and warp it in different specific ways, where he manipulates human and reindeer aspects to create new transformations by fusing them in unique patterns.
Yeah. Yeah,
Which
and
I
that
think
is
awesome.
absolutely awesome. I can't wait to see the way that plays out.
Kaido, don't worry. We are absolutely not forgetting those. Those are in Corkboard Corner today. Kaido's pointing out that the Will of D, Gold D, Roger, Ace, Dragon, and Blackbeard all get information this arc. He didn't mention Blackbeard, but he does.
Yeah, I did. I mentioned Blackbeard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
no, we're going right into that. That's That is like the
let's very
most
quickly,
important corner.
What do you think of what happened with Django at the end there?
Okay, so I was trying to find the moment when he first met his friend. His friend was dancing in a dance competition at the same time as him, right? In this place?
I think so. If I remember
in the mirror place.
It's not my favorite cover story. I don't remember the fine details.
No, I don't either. I just think that it's interesting. It doesn't feel like they're friends. It feels like they're partners.
Yeah.
And I think that was a really cool thing that we kind of got to see, like him building a relationship, having this dance contest, et cetera, et cetera. And I think in the end, I think they're partners, but then he leaves. Kind of a weird ending. It wasn't my favorite, but I did love that I'm getting to see more of him and know that he's going to be part of it. I kind of wished he could have taken his partner with him.
Yeah.
Kind of feel sad about that. Because why not, right?
Yeah. But unfortunately, no. Okay. So are we ready for the corkboard?
Are we ready for the madness? That is.
I fucking lied. Corner. We're not. Because I told you a long time ago that as soon as we mentioned my second favorite character, as soon as they came up, as soon as we discussed them at all, I was going to make you try to figure out who my second favorite character is. So who introduced this week is my second favorite character in all of One Piece.
In all of One Piece?
In all of One Piece, my second favorite character has just been introduced. We have just discussed them for the first time today. Now we're filling on my top 5. Luffy, number 1, right? Number 3, Monkey D. Garp, spoiled by the anime, by the live action, that's his name. Number 5, Miss All Sunday. But we don't know, I did the wrong fingers. We don't know who number 2 and 3 are. Who's my second?
I can't even see your fingers.
Yeah, no, I held up the wrong ones. I held up 1, 2, and 5.
Wouldn't matter to me anyways. They're invisible. It's only going to matter to the people in chat.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it Ace?
It is not Ace.
I hope it's not Mr. Crocodile Face. No, it can't be. We've already seen
we've
lots of Mr. Crocodile
Facing. Fuck, we've already talked about Sir Crocodile. You got me.
Did you say Crocodile Face?
I maybe said Crocodile Face.
You know what that is? This is a glorious day, and that is my revenge for you sending me sad shows. From now on, if we're going to give me, I really believe this, if we're going to give me any live action-y pieces to go along with, it has to be the day before. You were like, and we're live. And I was sitting there.
I will send you the anime clips beforehand. There's a few from next week that I want you to watch.
I had tears rolling down my face, and then you're like, are you ready? And then in the beginning I was like, no. No, I'm not. Okay, so is chat guessing who it is too?
Chat is guessing too.
Okay, I can't see chat.
I have seen a few people get it correctly.
Okay, and it's not going to be Chopper?
It's not Tony. I've got terrible news about Chopper on my tier list.
Oh my god, if Chopper dies, I don't even know if I can do this.
No, on my tier list. Here's the thing. I love Chopper. I love all my Straw Hat children. I thought you meant on your
crying list.
I love all my Straw Hat children. I have to have a least favorite Straw Hat child.
You're breaking my heart.
Look, you can't, one of them has to be at the bottom of the list, unfortunately.
I can barely look at you right now. All right. It's going to be number 2 then.
Sorry?
Is number 2 your number 2?
Mr. 2? A lot of people are
Yeah.
guessing that. A lot of people are saying this. No, very very popular character, but not my second favorite. He's in like probably my top 50.
Who else was just mentioned? Is it Blackbeard?
Oh, it's Blackbeard.
Blackbeard's your number 2.
My second favorite character in all of One Piece, who we together will do a video about once we've finished about 500 chapters. My second favorite character of all time is Blackbeard. I keep wanting to say his full name, but you don't know it yet, so I can't.
Oh, I know.
You do
I mean,
not
I
know.
don't know. I don't know, but I know.
You don't know. You don't know. You know nothing.
Okay. Okay. Wow. That's a little surprising.
No, yeah, remember when I said you'd hate my second favorite character? You're gonna.
Oh. And it would be like you to choose somebody who's absolutely unlikable as a second favorite character.
Totally. Look. Yes, I love him. I love Blackbeard. Fantastic character. Great character.
So tell me that you
give
like
me the
Blackbeard.
Zay-ha-has in chat. Yeah, give me the Zay-ha-has.
Do you like Blackbeard because you're just impressed with the character development?
Impressed with the character. I think they're well written. I think he's incredibly well written. Great vibes, has some of my favorite scenes, and I can't say the phrase that I associate with Blackbeard the most because it'll kind of give away what role he plays in the series a bit too much. But I do want to do a video where we discuss Blackbeard together as like, I want like a 2-hour conversation about this character where I go off about why he's amazing once we reach like 550 chapters.
All right. I'll see you there. I'm not thrilled about your choice.
Look, I know Blackbeard's terrible, but also say ha ha ha.
All right. It is what it is. I can't wait to find out why you like an evil person.
Yeah, no, chat, look forward to it. I have reasons. Don't worry. I have brought sources. I'm going to show up. I'm going to give you the receipts when we get there. You'll know why I love Blackbeard, and at the end of it, you will too. But not right now. We can't. We're not there yet.
I can't believe you're claiming they're going to love Blackbeard.
Oh, everybody's going to love Blackbeard. That's my mission. A lot of people have a character they try to hype when they become a YouTuber where they're like, this is the one I'm trying to raise the stocks on. I will raise... There are 3 characters I want to raise the stocks on. Blackbeard, top of that list.
Okay. All right. Are we ready for Corkboard Corner?
We're ready for Corkboard Corner. It's Corkboard time.
And now for the madness that is Corkboard Corner.
All right. Let's go.
So there was a couple of things that I was wondering right away. So because I think that there's kind of this Buddhist idea that shares India, shares it Japan, shares it China, this Buddhist idea of being a remover of obstacles. When you have in India, it's Ganesh, etc. So 100% I'm here for Luffy is a remover of obstacles. And I don't think I said that last time, and I want that to just be out there.
Okay.
Then I started to think about, okay, you know that it was two arcs ago I started to think about what does the D in Luffy mean?
Yeah, you did. And you thought dragon was the assumption.
I'm staying with that right now. I don't know if I'm right, but I went through a whole phase. I was like, okay, can it stand for demon? Can it stand for defense? Are they defenders? Are they... Demon seemed so... I don't know. There was something... Demon seems wrong in some way. And then I was like, could it stand for destiny? Because he removes... And then I was like, no, because some of the people who are in with him, I don't think that they could also be destiny change. I don't know. Maybe they could, maybe they couldn't. Mm-hmm. But we're going to stick with dragon for now. Okay. So then I decided that they're family. They're dragons. We've got Monkey D. Luffy. I don't know what the beginning of Ace's name is, but I've decided Ace is definitely Luffy's family. I don't know if it's a brother or what we got going on. All right. Brother. That's possible. A brother is possible.
Are we gonna? Are you wanting to lock anything in? Are you wanting to put your foot on the pedal?
Give me
Wait,
2
if the
seconds
pedal
while
goes up, are you want to put your foot under the pedal? How does this? This expression is nonsense. I love it.
Yeah, no, I've thought about the fact the pedal goes up over and over again, because really the pedal should go down. You don't take
But
it off and you
here's
just
what's great about
smash
the
through.
phrase is it's an expression, it's a phrase, it's a channel motto about committing to ideas no matter how dumb they are. And it's a terrible phrase. It doesn't
Yeah,
make
it's
any
dumb.
sense
So
that
it's
I was
perfect.
committed to because I said that while talking about how I was creating a motto about committing.
It's actually could not be more perfect then.
Yeah.
So I think Ace is I don't know if he's a monkey, but he'll be D Ace. D will be there.
All
And
right.
it's gold, and then it's Gold D Roger, we found out, and then Monkey D Garp. So all of them are family. Those
Okay.
are Luffy's relations, 100%. And I think that the reason it's a D right now, and I was thinking about this for Dragon, we don't know the rest of Dragon's name.
No.
We don't know if he would have been a Monkey D something and his name would have been Dragon, but he's definitely related to Dragon. Or if it would be a Dragon D something, we don't know. But I think that the D is there because I like to think about this Japanese word, kotodama. It is a mystical, there's mystical power in words and names. There's spirits in words, the kotodama. And so your life is impacted by negative and positive things that you say, that words have a depth of meaning to them. But especially if somebody says your name out loud. And so I wondered if I'm going to put a this pedal goes up moment for the reason they just make it a initial is because there's power in their name. And so they only initial it. It's a Kotodama moment where they're like, no, we just initial our middle name. And it's funny because the beginning of the piece makes you think that it's possible that Luffy is a orphan when you first see it and he's just running around all amok all over the place, and then you realize no, very much not. He has family, he lives with people, he's cared for. And then you start to think about who is the rest of his family. These are his family. Pedal goes up.
Okay, you are committing. His family includes Ace and his family includes Ace. His family includes Garp, which the live action spoiled. It includes Dragon. You think him and
it
Ace
includes
might be brothers,
Blackbeard.
but you're not sure. And we're gonna add on Blackbeard to the D clan.
You heard me.
All right. You can add my main man Blackbeard onto the list of the D clan if you so choose.
Ugh. I can't wait for you to get to a point where you can make that make sense. But I do feel like, and it's interesting that you're talking then that, and now that we've had this conversation, it's interesting that you're talking about how there were 5 main people in our group, 6 now that we're leaving. So I look forward to finding out who Blackbeard adds to his crew, and that they kind of parallel each other because I think they're within the same family. And then I'm wondering if they're going to be the antithesis of whatever it is that Luffy is doing. If as he's removing obstacles we put in place. So I'm going to do a corkboard prediction that obstacles are going to be put in place by Blackbeard.
Interesting.
So that's my prediction for the Blackbeard pirate clan, that those people, as Monkey is a remover, Blackbeard and his crew are obstacle makers.
All right.
Oh, and I just want to point out that we did see Dragon's face in this time, and they talked about how he was a rebellion leader and how he was spreading information.
The specific word was a revolutionary.
He was a revolutionary, and he is spreading enlightenment to the people. So 100% get to still stick on that. And I want to say, like, is that a diamond star? Maybe not a diamond.
Here's where I'm at. If you had said symbolically he is an Azure Dragon, I would be already giving you a gold star right now.
No.
You were insistent that he is literally the Azure Dragon. He is. So I can't, we've no confirmation on that, so I can't give you a star right now, of course.
Okay, but can I just say, because there are 2 students, people wonder this all the time. There are 2 students and 2 students only who know that I'm doing this with you, that we have a One Piece channel.
Yeah.
And that is because the one student owns every single hardcover ever made of One Piece, that he bought with his own money or asked for gifts, et cetera, et cetera. And we were talking about them when we were talking about school. And I was like, oof, that's a big fan. So there was another kid in the class who was on chapter, I think he was 500 something. And so I thought, okay. So I said, can you do a little gatekeeping? Anyways, and I told them about it, and they were like, this is the greatest story ever told, and da 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 da, and it's the most amazing story. And it was when I was listening to, and they were non-spoiler kids, because I said, you can't talk to me about anything. I need to remain in a blank world. And they love keeping information from me. I don't know if you know this, but keeping information from your teacher is a wildly fun thing to do.
Okay.
But as they were getting so excited, it reminded me why my predictions are on the bigger end. People are like, why when you and I were talking and you said, why would you just go straight to this? And why wouldn't you think this? And why does he have to be a literal dragon? And I said to you, this is one of the most popular narratives in the world. And you said, how popular is it?
Oh, at the
What did you
moment,
say?
it's basically the most popular piece of fiction, most successful piece of fiction that currently exists and is being published.
100%. So I said, when you're talking about something that garners so much fandom, that you have a person who's like 16 years old who has spent all sorts of money, like $10,000, buying the complete collection in hardcover, when people have such a passion for something, it's not going to be because it's kind of an interesting story with a few interesting fantastical moments. It's going to be because it is absolutely fantastical. We're going to find things out that are mind-blowing. So I'm not going to guess on the lower level of things. That would be ridiculous. This has way too much popularity, way too much hype. Right. Everything is going to go big. So that's why I guess he's the Azure Dragon.
All right.
Okay.
And now I want to defend something, because people said that was not a spoiler counter. I think people actually forget about I forgot that dragon was mentioned in this arc. It's a flashback at a reverie where young Vivi met Wapol, and the person who's brought everyone to meeting is talking about how there's a revolutionary named Dragon who is explicitly, only two things are said about him. It's that he's a revolutionary and that he's spreading his ideas to people around the world. It is not a spoiler counter, because the text exactly says, just verbatim, basically what she predicted last week, that Dragon would be the Azure Dragon who brings freedom and specifically spreads enlightenment to the people of the world. So, like, if you had said symbolically, I think it is not a spoiler counter to just say that would be a gold star, because, like, the next time we talked, a flashback was like, hey, here's Dragon. He spreads ideas to people.
Exactly.
Professionally.
Exactly. And so as soon as I saw that, I was like, come on. Goldie Roger is still alive.
This is one that you've said that's interesting. And yeah, of course he's still alive.
No, don't do that thing as long as people keep remembering you. They're still alive.
A man dies when he's forgotten.
No.
Yeah, a man dies when he's forgotten, so he's still alive. We didn't forget him.
No, stop with your nonsense. The man is alive. And my reason that I think he's not just a man is not forgotten as long as people keep remembering. No. It is because there's a few moments, like we got the moment, and I know the moment when Crocus, if I say moment one more time, I swear to God, when Crocus is talking directly to him, right? With Laboon, and I was like, and then you said, and I quote, yeah, there's Crocus talking to a dead man. How weird. And then when we have the witch sitting there and she says, oh, is that what he's known as now? I was like, interesting.
Dead people being known as things can be interesting if you knew them when you were alive, and you can talk to somebody you knew when they're dead. It
feels like he's had to change forms or be known as many things over time, because she's 139. So when she said that, and she was like,
right.
Okay. Oh, is that what he's known as now? I was like, well, we're talking to a person who would have known him maybe in multiple forms, and this was the last one that she knew him as. And so it feels like this is her giving me a little spoiler alert.
So you
that
believe Goldie Roger is reincarnating repeatedly?
Yeah. Oh, here's what she says. It's in One Piece 154, page 7 of 20. Is that what he's called now? And then everyone goes blank. Seems our reindeer will get more than he bargained for. And I was like, And then she goes over to the next page and she goes, so the will of D lives on. Killing me, lady. You're killing me. Because I like when I started to dig into what the initial meant. But when you talk about the will of D, I don't think necessarily that Dragon is right, but I will figure it out.
I will say, if you figure it out, you've solved something that we've been trying to crack for a long time.
Well, I'm not going to say maybe I'll figure it out. That doesn't feel very positive in my brain.
All right, fair.
So the will of D lives on.
Oh my God, Kaito, that's amazing. 117 block terms.
I absolutely need to. I need to just change the page.
She made me pointing out that when you were trying to brush aside what I was saying, you said the phrase "a man is not forgotten as long as people remember him." Chopper, the man's not forgotten as long as people remember him. Dr. Hairloop, that's just definitionally true. What? And then he just explodes.
You know what it is? Ooh, that's powerful. You're smart.
Just something that would impress a high person, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Don't forget me, Chopper, else you won't remember.
A man is always remembered as long as you remember him. Okay. So, because of her, Willa D lives on, blah, blah, blah. I think dude is absolutely alive.
All right. Now, alive as Gold Roger or alive as reincarnation?
Okay, so do you remember the very first time we met Gold D Roger and he was being executed in a smiley smile form?
Wealth, fame, power. Yeah, all that, yeah.
Yeah, and my page of memorization.
Yeah.
So I immediately was like, when did he die? Could Luffy be reincarnated as him? And I was like, kind of like, no. He is not Luffy. He's okay. I don't think, because I feel like she would have felt something towards Luffy if there was this will of D lives on, like she would have felt it. But I'm a little surprised. Like, I went back and tried to find it if there was any moment that anyone called a Monkey D Luffy in front of him, but I couldn't see it. But I was just a little bit surprised that if she knew about the will of D, that she hadn't have seen it in Luffy and actually like talked about it a bit. So that was a bit surprising to me.
I do have to say that is it just a concept? Is it just is there a real power? Who fucking knows?
Yeah, I know. I had these thinky think moments. I'm trying to decide. So then right after she says that, Luffy has chopsticks up his nose. So I just want to point out that I love that she says the will of D lives on, and it's this great powerful moment. 2 frames underneath, Luffy's running around. Look what I can do, and has chopsticks up his nose. And I was like, yeah.
People are pointing out she does say that in reference to learning what his full name is. It's just after she learns what his full name is.
Yeah, but she says in here, sorry, I went too far ahead, and no, I didn't go far ahead in the thing. I just meant in the page. You don't know that I read ahead necessarily.
You've already said it.
I could have been lying.
Hey, do you have an excuse for why you read ahead this week?
I didn't necessarily read ahead, but I did. And in my defense, there were more chapters.
There were more chapters. That's so correct. Factually true.
I've decided if I'm going to be factually true with all my great sayings today, let's stick with it. But she doesn't. She says here, I have a feeling I've seen you somewhere before. They talk about she says, Dr. Korea, he says, what's wrong? You seem so distant. And then she said, have you ever heard of Goldie Roger? So it doesn't really have a part where she's finding out exactly who Luffy was that I see. Maybe I'm missing it. Maybe it was many pages ahead. Oh, no. I lied to you. It's here. Thank you, people. All is well. Okay. And then, so my prediction is...
we're going on predictions?
These are all things in Corkboard Corner. These are all
we're
part of
Corkboard Corner.
Yeah. And so then I did another thing because I was trying to look at how dragons are made, how dragons are born. And then at the same time, I was trying to figure out because Amaterasu, who is the goddess of the sun, she is the sun. She's an incarnate Amaterasu.
Okay, yeah.
What?
Amaterasu?
Yeah.
Amaterasu? I don't know. I played her in Smite. Great character. Loved her.
That's exactly how you should talk about people's deities.
Oh, God. I bought... Never mind. I'm not going to talk about the embarrassing Amaterasu skin I bought. Moving on.
So she is the mother of all things, and she's the epitome of the highest goddess, god, Okay. And her husband is the moon who chases her around the sky. And then I was like, what are the origins of dragons? So I went into the thing, and there was a whole bunch of different ideas. There was one manga that talked about dragons being created out of the moon, a cracked egg, and dwindling down into the sky. So I had a thing with like, could there be a thing around that and dragons existing out of the moon and the moon watching or being the father of all of them? So if Luffy turns out to be a god, which is in my predictions, this pedal goes up, then his relatives would be the moon and the sun because they are the father and mother of gods. And so now I'm starting to look at moon and sun lore. That will be a next arc moment.
In the next
for me.
arc, we'll start to look at the sun and moon a bit more. And you think that
but
Luffy
I told you
is
that
connected to the sun and the moon.
Yeah, but I told you that after I decided that Luffy was a sun and moon, part of the sun and moon gods, then I went back because I said that there was a frame where I talked about how it looked like the moon was looking down on them in Whiskey.
In Whiskey Peak, yeah.
And it looked like there was a face, a building in front of the moon that made it look like a face looking down at them. Okay. But then when I was trying to find that one stupid moment, and I was trying to go back through the whole thing, I noticed that in that particular part of the arc, like every fourth panel had a moon in it. And then I was like, why so many moons? So then I went over to Little Garden and started looking through. It was daylight and they didn't show any suns, which was weird because I thought like, okay, if this is kind of a play on his beginnings, then why are there no suns? And then I went into another one. And as soon as there's a moon again, boom, it's here in on this island, on Drum Island, the moon is back. It's full now, which is cool because it does show the passage of time because I know approximately how much time has moved because of that. And then I'm also like, okay, why are we showing only the moon and we never show the sun? There's no day panels where we're showing the sun anytime, but we show the moon every time it's in the sky. So now I'm going to go back through all of those pieces and try to figure it out. And then predict this other piece in Corkboard Corner when we're going into Crazy Land. I don't know why yet because this is new, but on one of the pages, it has Ace walking away in this one frame, and it says, about a week ago, a traveler appeared in Robelu. Is it Robelu?
Yeah.
Town? Well, I'm saying it is.
Yeah. A town.
It was in a town. Wouldn't it be Lobelu?
It would be either, because remember, in Japanese, there's a sound partway in between, and it can be translated either way.
Okay. It was a strange day. It didn't snow. And that was Ace. Yeah. Impossible. It snows every single day, without fail, in Drum. So if Ace is coming there, and it doesn't snow in the time that Ace is there, I was trying to decide, is this a Ace toning down the weather and smoothing it out, like smoothing of the edges? Or is this Ace controlling the weather? Is Ace using the moisture in some way? I don't know. But if Ace is related,
you're gonna love my answer.
I'm not gonna love your answer. I'm gonna
What's to
hate your
say?
answer. I'm gonna hate your answer.
Who's to say? Could be
Okay,
anything.
go ahead.
It could be not just who's to say. Could be anything.
You're to say. You are.
Could be anything.
The worst. Absolutely. I hate that answer so much every single time. Because something is going on with Ace and his weather controlling. But I don't think it's a weather controlling, because remember when we were in was it when we were in Loketown?
Yes.
And you were saying that the
said
first time
my
that
read was that Dragon was controlling the weather.
Yeah, so they're obviously not controlling the weather, because you're not that sloppy. You wouldn't give me away something that I would be able to come back on that easy. So it's not a weather controlling, it's something else. But I'm going to perseverate on Ace now, because obviously in that spot I was like, come on, why did it stop snowing? It snows every day in this town.
Someone's pointing out it's that Ace is so drippy that he's just so hot it can't snow.
Because Ace is so hot?
Yeah. Did you see his drip? Did you see that coat?
You know what? They're not wrong. They're not wrong. He's bringing it. When he walks down the road, it is a catwalk. Anywhere he goes, it's a fashion show. And then while we're at it, let me just go through chapter 21, Townies, the opening page in there. Luffy is laying against a white tiger. So I kind of wondered if, because we talked and you said this would probably be before Oda knew how popular it was going to be.
Yeah.
And before people, and before people would be doing requests and stuff. So I said I love the idea that he might have done things like put in the white tiger as who is the protector of the West. And eventually the white tiger, by the way, does control weather according to lore. If they get powerful enough and change into this other being in a level up. So I think that this was very interesting, because I think when you were talking earlier about how Oda regrets some of the things that he put in because he didn't understand the scope that it was going to be or how far the internet was going to come. So he didn't understand how often people would be able to come back to it. But not only that, have discussions amongst themselves as a community, right? So I wondered if this was one of those times where he drew something not really thinking about the implications that it could have, or not. It could just be, but why? Why tiger? Why laying on tiger?
Speaking of, oh god, we are going late. Speaking of, I think I want to try to wrap up by 5, so let's try to finish in the next 10 minutes. Speaking of, I want to quickly talk about, I want to make sure we get discussed this week that you made it clear you thought Chopper would join the second you saw he had antlers, because you felt like we needed antlers. Can you explain why we needed antlers in the crew?
You have to have antlers. It's the Ryu dragon. So when I told you that you had to have a certain number of people on his... Yeah, thank you. On his crew, because the final form of his crew altogether, if they were going to all make one larger dragon, would require antlers. And I kept thinking to myself, like, is somebody going to suddenly grow some antlers? Like, how are we getting the antlers in there? And then boom, what appears but a chopper?
It does support your idea that the crew represents the 9 animals of Raijin a lot, that immediately after you mentioned that theory, an antlered character joins the team.
I'm gonna lie, it beyond supports my theory. It didn't take me away from going down that hill. I'm going to tell you that right now. So I'm fully committed to that one.
If it's just a coincidence, it's funny that it just pushed you in the wrong direction so hard by this radical coincidence.
Yeah, exactly. So I was
what other features need to be included with the Raijin?
Well, cow ears.
That's hard to get.
That one's a little hard to get, but I also thought, well, maybe they could use Chopper's little cute ear. I don't know. Let's not go into it. We only have 10 minutes, because I have a whole next week corkboard theory on that, where I'm going to start to put the characters down.
You know what? We're only doing half of Alabasta, unless what I've told you is the part that you have to stop at. If you keep going, you'll ruin the tone of that moment. So if you keep going past that part, you got to smoke the whole pack. You got to fucking binge Alabasta. And I was thinking, because we're not going to be able to, if you did binge Alabasta, we're not going to be able to stream the week after, or you're not going to be able to. So we could, in theory, do 2 discussions anyways, one about the first part, one about the second part, and the first part could fit in a lot of theories. Either way, we'll see. I think you're going to have a lot to talk about in Alabasta.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Okay, so do I need to say the predictions, or did I predict enough in Corkboard Corner that we can pull from them? You're going to make me say them, aren't you?
Yes.
So,
list of predictions. Now that we've talked through the thoughts around it.
All right, so doubling down. Monkey has a powerful family that includes Dragon, Blackbeard, Ace, Goff. Am I missing anyone that we know of right now?
Did you just call Garp Goff?
Oh yeah, I did, but that's another reason. Sorry, Garp. I think those are all the people right now that I think are in his family. And then I want to predict that their initial D is initialized because it's a protected word, that words have power. And so they make it an initial. Then I want to say, let me go back into my area. Okay. Where'd you go, Ace? You're going to have to get over it. That Goldie Roger is still alive.
Okay. And
real alive.
Yeah, of course he is.
The worst. Just the worst.
A man only dies when he's forgotten. He's of course he's alive.
Once again, I ask, who raised you? Okay. I am going to also agree with you in a prediction, the same what I said, that I think that the Blackbeards are going to mimic Luffy's crew. They're going to gather crew at the same pace as Luffy's crew is, that they are creating a alternate, ultimate powerful. Oh my God, I have to look that up.
If there's like an evil Ryujin?
Yeah, I'm going to have to look that up now. I got to make a note on that. Oh my God, it's in the treasure box.
All right.
And that they are going to have a crew similar to Luffy's or identical to Luffy's on the evil side, because all things come in balance.
Okay.
And then let's give Ace, you know what, let's just put it out there and give Ace some kind of power that later on I'm going to come back to. Pedal goes up for now, but later on Ace.
You are going to find out the answer to this so quickly. So if you're right or wrong, you're going to find out very fast. I'll put the not spoiler counter for that one, but it's so soon.
I wanted some time to think about that because I just don't know what's going on with this kid.
Right, you could just not guess and you'll find out, like, for our next convo.
Kind of hate that too. Kind of hate them all, but you know what I admire about Oda is he's like, he does that all the time. He's like, here's a person. Oh, that's so mysterious. Boom, mystery open.
But then he'll also be like, here's a person, they're so mysterious, and then 15 years later he'll be like, hey, you remember this guy?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Then there's other ones that I'm like, that one's gone forever. And then I remember when you were a teenager going like, oh my God, this thing came back. So there's a few moments, like there's an ultimate moment, a few moments that I'm like, I think I remember you saying some stuff. So I have to be very, very cognizant. Do I want to go into my brain and remember?
Yeah, don't. Try not to look there.
In my mind?
Yeah, try to not look too hard there, because I definitely said some shit as a teenager, not realizing that 13 years in the future we'd be doing a YouTube show together.
Okay, Ace has some ability around him to control moisture and changes in temperature or something. I'm going to go with moisture and water. Ace has some sort of water control.
All right, we're giving Ace water control. Ace has water control.
You know what? I'm comfortable with that going away and being wrong, but that is what it is.
You'll get a purple mushroom.
A purple mushroom? Good.
Remember? Okay.
I'm gonna eat that purple mushroom up. I'm going to change my background to purple mushrooms. You can't frighten me with being wrong. I love being wrong. Being wrong means I'm doing something right. Okay. Do I have any more predictions I want to make? Oh yeah, Nami. She has a power, and she has some way of being able to understand or know what's going to be happening in the weather above and beyond being a great navigator.
Okay.
Oh, the moon. The moon is going to be a thing.
The moon is going to be a thing. Do we get more specific, or do we want to keep it broad so we can add specificity after some thinking?
No, I can't. I can't add a damn single specific thing. I only just know the moon is going to be a thing. I think now only because while I was trying to see if there was any, because I was like, okay, are there any moments then where the moon and the sun are really prominent? Because I had that moment that I thought the moon was looking at him, and I was like, did they ever do a sun moment like that? And I kind of tried to look. I can't find anything with a sun in it. So I'm going to go no. But when I went back to see that, it was moon, 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 moon everywhere. Great for the passage of time. I understand that, but I think there's more to it. So that's all I have so far for that. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, so the moon will be significant is on the board. I did give you a list of basically the 3 Eastern stories that are referenced in almost every manga there's ever been. And I have a feeling that after you read or watch the movie of Princess Kaguya, you are going to go moon mad, being like, because you've already said you think the moon is important, and Princess Kaguya is about the moon. So I think you are going to go moon crazy after getting the gist of Princess Kaguya.
Oh, I love that for me.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of the ones that most manga have some sort of allusion to at some point. It's in the list of reading I've given you.
Okay. Also, there's going to be a land of little people.
A land? Okay. Why are we saying that?
Because there is. Because people were apparently miffed that I didn't notice that Usopp talked about the big giant fish. And then when I went back and I was like, oh yeah, he did actually say that. Then he talks about a land of little people. So now I'm going to go scour the rest of that area and find out what else he says. So I just want to let you know, people, I'm a human. And we all know that I don't put that much focus on Usopp.
As noted by you didn't notice the goldfish until I told you between streams.
Yeah, because I was like, Usopp. Although I do admit, Usopp did it up. It was a really good stream for him last time. So yeah. I'm going to be reading some of the different things. I have started to look into Journey to the West. I've got a whole bunch of stuff in here that I've screenshot, but those ones are so they were so wild, and I didn't have enough time to play with them. So I'm gonna put them in the treasure box, take them out this week, and stick them on corkboard corner.
Sounds good. All right. Someone had a question for you.
The little pills of my good friend Chopper are going to become a very important thing. I also wonder if those are going to help Luffy to find, and the crew, all of them, to find their other levels of their talents.
Curious. All right. So we'll not sure how I'm going to write that one down in the prediction list, but Chopper's Rumble Balls will be useful will be important, and then separately could be useful for the crew for uncovering their abilities. Someone had a question to add to the prediction corner. They want you to predict what kind of person will join the Straw Hats next, now that they have a doctor.
Okay, so I was thinking about this, but not enough, because I just kind of started to think at the end, like, okay, we got our doctor, and that one was kind of obvious. We had a lot of hints and stuff. We do have one little hint here of something that we need.
What's that?
Ships take damage.
So you're thinking a shipwright?
Well, either a shipwright or somebody who can actually fix the ship, because I'm telling you now...
a shipwright is someone who fixes a ship.
No, who could just fix a bunch of things. I know a shipwright fixes ships. Okay. Because Usopp can fix some stuff, and he worked in the shipyard, but I don't think
he only worked in the shipyard in the live action. That was a change.
Oh, really? That's right. Because I was wondering about that, and then my brain replaced it. The see?
No, in the
live
manga,
action.
In the manga, he's just kind of improvising to fix the mare.
And in the manga, he's just running around all over town.
Yeah, he's just doing his best.
Yeah. So yeah, they need somebody who's a shipwright, because. And then what else did they need? What else was I thinking? They have strength, and there was something else I was thinking. You have a doctor, you have somebody who can feed you. You don't have anyone who can. No, that's later. Let's go shipwright.
All right, a shipwright as an ex-crewmate has been suggested.
Favorite fruit.
Favorite fruit. Bellamy's getting
Tell
another
you
treat
what it
while
is.
you're giving the favorite fruit. So, is
I'll
the
tell-
favorite
I'll
fruit
tell you
list
what
the
it is.
same, or has the Munch Bison or human fruit taken the place of one of them?
So my favorite fruit is still the fruit of Miss All Sunday.
What is it this week? What has she got? Last week she had electro powers, and the week before she had ghosts.
Now, last week she had both mushrooms and then electro powers.
You're right. It was mushrooms and then electro powers.
I was trying to think about how I could do it in an interesting way, but I think it's going to be some sort of psychic power.
Some sort of psychic power. A good old telekinesis or the like.
Yeah.
Hey, let me tell you, this time next week, you'll know.
Oh,
that's a spoiler.
Then I would have had to have guessed way better. Damn it. Not a spoiler.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said that, but you'll know, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. We're going to Alabasta.
I'm a little bit sad about that. I just want to point out, I might have met Crocodile Face all the way, and he literally says, and I think I even snapped a photo of it, call me what you want. And you know what I say to that? I will, Mr. Crocodile Face. Yeah, that's exactly what I'll do. I'll call you exactly what I want to call you.
So immediately when he's introduced here and you finally see him, his first thing he says is, call me what you want. Fucking hell.
Almost.
Shit. I forgot that. You're just gonna commit to Crocodile Face, huh?
He doesn't mind at all. He's kind of into it. He's okay.
God damn it, yeah.
So I'm pretty excited to go and see Miss All Sunday, and she can finally tell me what her thing is. I'm a little sad not to repredict something every week, but hers is the number one. My number two is no. That's hard. Okay, so what was my number two last week? It's still Rubber. It's still Luffy's
I think Kilo might have supplanted Rubber, but
no, that was three. I think it was three or four.
Okay, it was somewhere. Yeah.
People underestimate slip because getting away from things and have things slip around you is awesome.
Yeah,
the slip, like having people not be able to hit you with a bullet or hit you with a knife, like that's amazing. The looking all like awesome, whatever. Like you're fighting, that's pathetic. Who cares? But slipping away
Vita
bullets,
didn't really make note of that. Like she didn't make note of the weight loss at all. She was like, it sure is a shame I lost my freckles, but look how perfect my skin is at least.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about that. It's just like the full makeup and all that crap. I was like, that's whatever. But this slipping away from crap and then slipping across, because remember, I also wonder, could you walk on / slip across water? So I'm going to move slip to 4, and I'm going to put 3 is the kilo. And then I'm going to put bison. And then, kilo just gets cooler and cooler the more you think about it, honestly. It might one day take Luffy down a peg. And then I think the 5th is the bison.
All right. 5th is bison. Turning into a bison is number 5 now.
It's pretty cool.
All right. I think we close out with your favorite characters this week. Who in Drum Island is the MVP? Who's number... Because you like to start at number 1 and work your way down. Easier that way.
It's Chopper. It's Chopper.
Anthony Helicopter gets the number 1 spot of the week.
He's the greatest. All-time hero. Woot woot. You know what? Luffy's number 2.
Hell yeah, I think he deserves it this week. I think Luffy had a stunning performance.
Honestly, if it wasn't for if it wasn't for Chopper, Luffy would have been number 1 this week. But come on.
Hard to beat Chopper in this one. It is Chopper's arc.
It was an amazing Chopper moment. Number 3 is the nice young witch.
Kureha?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kureha's great.
Correa is an amazing character, and I like how her performance is kind of like a little undersold. I think it's kind of amazing.
Can I propose a character to you that you talked up earlier that I think you might forget if I don't bring them up?
Okay.
Vivi.
Yeah, you don't even have to worry. Vivi is number 4. She could have been number 3. The only reason Correa wins out is because I don't think we're going to see her for a while if we see her again.
Fair.
So I'm putting Correa at number 3 because she won't have another chance to be on, and she was really cool, and it was her arc as well.
Mm-hmm.
And even though the crew is there, Vivi is number 4. Vivi is number 4, but Dalton is number 5.
Fair. Dalton's a great leader. He cares a lot about his people. He was willing to betray Wapol for the betterment of the island. I think he's a really solid guy.
I think he really showed the crew things. That's why, for me, like, all the other stuff is super important for the island of Drum. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking about it for the long term for our story with our Straw Hats. And he really showed the ability that when you gain new information and you know new things and they're proven to be true, then change. And I love that for the crew. And I think moving forward, that lesson moving forward with the crew is going to be really powerful.
I think you're right. So as we're wrapping up, I will again bring up my thought of Alabasta, because I think this is important. For me, there is a point that's a good splitting moment in Alabasta. And I think if you can manage to stop there, it's a good point to stop and think about, because if you read it all, this will now be the longest one we've done, other than I think when we did the first part of East Blue, but there was less to talk about than you had just, you had read a lot of it before. That being said, because we can't go the week after, I think we would do it as like a full 4-hour discussion where we do 2 drawings. We still split it up. We just talk about it all in 1 week. But I just really think tone-wise, we can't honestly do a discussion about Alabasta if you read past the stopping point.
Is this your way of saying that there's no cheeky read ahead?
I think this time there should not be a cheeky read ahead, and I genuinely think if you read past chapter 178, it is 178. If you read past that chapter, and I encourage One Piece readers to go look up how mean and important, necessary of a stopping point this is. If you
I can already tell you're the worst.
Chapter, I think it will ruin the tone of the moment that we would be leaving off on a lot. And I think you should smoke the whole pack if you do. I think you got to buckle down and just take down the carton if you go past that moment.
You are a cheeky monkey.
I think start early so that that's an option, and then we can talk about doing a longer stream because we'll be taking the next week off, and I can just release 2 videos week after week. Anyways, now.
Okay. This week there's a special emotional mention to the Doctor. Mad respect for his awesomeness, and then a side special mention to my great good friend the hiking bear. And his homies, the rabbits.
I love that. I want to say I'm looking through chat right now. Here's chat. What chapter? Oh, you're the worst. You're disgusting. You're terrible. Fair. Oh, that chapter. God. That's a very mean thing to do. That's horrible. You're gonna get disowned. That's cruel. LMAO.
Okay, you might be
There's
the worst.
There's a few people who agree with me, and I think everyone understands why I'm saying this. I think everybody understands why I am saying what I'm saying. I just think they also understand that it is mean. Just saw the chapter, you're horrible. I looked up 178. I knew it would be that one. I do agree with it. Okay, people do agree with my sentiment, at least.
I feel like you might not love me.
I love you a lot, and that's why I had to show you the scene of the Doctor blowing himself the fuck up.
That was cruel. That was so cruel. From now on, by the way, let's just
day before
reiterate.
Day before.
You send them the day before, because I was off today. I started in an emotionally damaged location.
He loves you in a sadistic way. Kaido, our illustrious mod, we get it and agree with it, but still Mama won't be happy.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Well,
Well,
it's the chapter I would have to read to if I just read it.
178 is the stopping point.
Unless
you binge the entire thing and we do a 4-hour discussion next Saturday.
and how and what chapter is that?
100 and the end of Alabasta. It's like 200
Yeah.
and something. Let me look this
200
up.
200 and something.
200 and something. Yeah. Yeah.
How many somethings?
It's a 63 chapter. This would be almost as long as the beginning of East Blue we talked about if you read it.
I'm not gonna lie. You made me read 100 chapters to begin with.
Well, no. I made you read like 67 to begin with, and then like 33, something like that.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
This is 63, which is nearly as much as the beginning of East Blue, and it's denser chapters with generally more panels, more dialogue.
Somebody put it there. I refreshed it. It says 217, but it also says 215.
Yeah. So 215 is kind of the end, but no, 217 is the end.
Okay, but if I do the whole thing, I think that I should pick 2 pictures. You should be prepared to draw twice.
2 pictures. I will be doing 2
and then
drawings. We'll read up to. We'll be doing the same break. We'll be doing up to 178 for the first portion, and then up to 217 for the second portion.
So people who come to the live will see the whole damn thing then, and then you would put them out 2 weeks, one after another. Boom,
that
boom.
way we don't miss an update on YouTube, at least when you are vacation.
Because I take a little vacation, a little mini vacation.
Yeah.
Where I let my brain melt into cheese.
Everyone's looking up like, oh God, yeah, no, everyone agrees with me that it's both the necessary stopping point if we were going to cut this arc in half and also terrible to do to you.
So it is bad enough that everybody is like, oh my God.
But they're also all like, yeah, fair.
Ooh, it's a hard one. Okay,
yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens.
I recommend you start early so that you have the chance, because if you get too far, you're just going to have to sit on it and do your corkboard within the Alabasta arc.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a bad kid sometimes.
You are. It's been known to happen.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
but yeah, this is exciting. You're about to head into your first climactic arc, the first arc that ends a saga. I'm so excited. You get to end the first saga of the East Blue, or after the East Blue of the Grand Line.
How do you know when a saga is done?
Well, I mean, right now everything since we entered the Grand Line has been working up to Crocodile. So dealing with Crocodile is the end of a saga.
Is saga 1? Okay, that's what I was curious. Oh, I'm super excited. I hope I get a platinum star.
At some point, I will say, you've said like fucking 9 or 10 things that would be worth a platinum star or a diamond star if they were true. Add to the not a spoiler counter, you will in the future at some point get at least 1 diamond star.
I'm going to tell you right now, if I get any mushrooms, I'm just going to make an omelet out of them and I'm going to eat those babies up.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Well, thank you, everyone. Once again, this has been awesome. Can I just tell you, that picture, look at that picture.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it. It took a while to get the composition to not look atrocious, but I think I got it pretty balanced at this point.
You absolutely did. And you totally captured that sweet moment when Luffy was like, I am the stopping point right here. It's me. Yeah. Stunning.
All right. Thanks everybody so much for being here. This is so much fun. I've been loving doing this so goddamn much. I love One Piece. I love talking to you. I love having everybody here. And I am so thrilled for you to call me when you get to 178 and make the noise that I know you're going to make, which is like, ah!
I am too.
People are saying thanks to us. Oh, you guys are great. I love this. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone. I can't tell you how much fun this is. Every single time I think I'm talking into the void, I remember that we're here on a journey with you, and it just fills my heart.
Come here, buddy. Come here. More treats for the boy. Yeah. People love the boy. All right. Goodbye, everybody. And until next week when we talk about either half of Alabasta or all of it, we'll see. It's been lovely talking to you. Oh wait, I have to raid. I should start raiding. We have a raid-worthy audience. Let's do it. Let's find someone talking about One Piece. We're on a journey, everybody. I'm gonna send you to a One Piece stream. Oh, my dog just headbutted the door open. I'm glad he waited until now. No. Oh boy. So, you know what? Nobody's talking about One Piece. I'm gonna send you to an art stream. Fuck it. Let's bombard them. Let's throw a pile of people at an art stream. Oh boy. I gotta set these up ahead of time. I gotta remember to do these.
I love the idea of just showing up in somebody's room.
Okay. I don't know any of these people, so I'm just gonna send the first one that showed up here. There we go. I'm sending you guys. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. Have a good day, everybody.